You're a victim.
Here we go, CSI.
Chaos reigns.
Wait. You know, that's the old song, man. I think you guys got tired of listening to that particular song. So let me try a new type of music that I come across here. Let's do this. Here we go. All right. Welcome. Welcome to another live stream, another session here on the Chaos Rain Show. I'm Chaos Rain here. And before I start, let me
Tired, had a wedding this weekend, but
all right. Before I start, welcome everybody that's here. The links to follow me are the following. You can follow me on Twitter at ChaosRain7. You could also add me as a friend on Facebook, Eric Rain on Facebook. You could also join the Discord service of the Chaos Rain Show. What else I'm missing? Oh, and follow my Rumble page as well. I believe I put Rumble in the description of this video. As I go along, I'll probably throw more in the chat room. And like always, please become a member of the Chaos Rain Show as well. You know, membership does help the channel a little bit, but usually with more people as members, it only goes such a long way. So with your support and help, while if you support the channel either by via super chat or cash app, I will surely appreciate those who also become a member of the channel as well. Wouldn't hurt, Like I said, I got 2 different tiers of membership, So pick which one you like. All right. And as you know, and I didn't put the banner here. And like always, the goal, as always, this is a set goal, legit goal for now. And for those that want the chat room open, $5 more will go even longer way. So I open the chat for people to, comment. But usually, if you want to comment, you must subscribe to the channel. All right, guys. So you know the deal. You see the thumbnail. You see this winch. This winch. Oh yes. Oh yes. And come to find out, if I want to dig up, and I probably will Google her in a second, because I'm not gonna do too much digging to the only you see the one they call Candace Owens, as you see through the thumbnail, and you see the man in blackface saying, "Welcome back, sweetie." That's a sign that she has now decided to jump ship and jump back into the dark side, the black side, the so-called black community. Isn't ironic, gentlemen and ladies, that this message resonates? How you are so in beds with non-black men for as long as you've been on this earth, since she was born in 1991, I believe. She's 32, probably going 33. And if I'm not sure, I will double check to make sure right now. I don't want to shoot from the hip. I always got to make sure I'm saying things that's accurate. So let's type in Candace Owens a bit. Let me stop this right here. Let me go back. I'm going to find her ass right now for y'all. Candace Owens. Oh, here you go. And she pops up. Oh no, she's much older than that. Jesus Christ. She is a Taurus. The Taurus. The Taurus. And she is born in 1989. This is about to hit the wall. Actually, she's married now, so she's already at the wall stage of life. I mean, really. She's at the stage now that she's at the wall. To those that popularly don't know that, I mean, I'm not going to educate that. And the ironic thing about her, and I see somebody chat, thank you, Mr. J-Line. This woman hit the wall. And now when she hit the wall, she's getting so bold. Very bold. With her, what do you call anti-Semitic rhetoric. Have the audacity to pose and be like a big boss to non-black men. Particularly, I think she was going at an interview with a rabbi. I could be wrong. And you might want to educate me, please do in the chat room or the comment section. But she has the audacity to question her boss, her masters, just like typical bed wenches. They get so bold, get so in their feelings. Matter of fact, they smell themselves as we speak. And they come to a point where now they say, I think that you should not do this because only Christ is king. To whom, bitch? No. The European man, or what they call the Jew that people talk about, he is king, Lord and Savior. Not you. No. I run things here. The money you indulge, I print. The resource that you indulge, I control. Watch your tongue, bitch, or who you talking to. That's what Ben Shapiro and all his fellow brothers from the Jewish faith tell this little wench, and had to slap her back up and send her back home to the black community, where her tail tucked between her legs. Yes. As you know, there's a video up here, and I can't, and this is from the Hill, and I don't want to watch the video. I want to see, and I want to read it, because me watching what's your take, I don't give a crap. And I'm going to find the one with the CNN reports. There's the Guardian, and there's all the parts articles. Let me see if these articles are. Let me see if this is one of these articles right here. All right, we'll go to an article, and let's sit back, and we're going to indulge some little small reading. Because reading is fun, to a degree. Not much. And I'm looking when this article was published. This published a few days ago. And remember, this is not the premise of the stream. For those that's not patient, I can't control that. The premise of the stream is, we're gonna go at this so-called. Well, we could say she is a divester, but it's much deeper than that. She's a woman that she feels she cannot be above approach, that the world is in her possession, that she cannot be stopped. They've given her a certain amount of power, and she's exuding the power to the full extent. She's using the power to the point where now, if you think about it, now that she could say and tell any man, especially that she's interviewing, and tell them that they're wrong and she is right. And I said, you crazy. You crazy. You are never right. You are always going to be wrong into their eyes. And they had to slap them up back in their place. And please, guys, as you watch this video, please share the stream. I know people have talked about this. I'm giving my take. And it's not going to be very nice. Not saying I've been chomping lips for the moment to go at her, but we got to be critical here. And we got to look at it as this entire and go really hard. And let you know, saying that this should be a lesson learned and some more to come. Okay. So let's look at this article. Ben Shapiro, the Daily Wire serves severed ties with Candace Owens after her embracing of anti-Semitic rhetoric. Now, mind you, I'm not really too fond of anti-Semitism, much less that they have in their right to call people that. But since this is a woman that worked for them, we're gonna give grace for today's stream. And you know what I'm saying? Yeah, she was very much anti-Semitic in her rhetoric towards the people of, I think, was it Palestine, Israel, and the Jewish faith. Yeah, she needs to be slapped around for that. Very disrespectful. Very disrespectful indeed. All right. New York City, CNN, the Daily Wire, the right-wing media outlet co-founded by Ben Shapiro, said Friday that it has several ties with Candace Owens, the far-right commentary who has ignited a torrent of backlash in recent months for her repeated embrace of anti-Semitic rhetoric. Ooh, ooh, yes. And mind you, I don't give a crap what some dude will say if they're going to defend her. You could defend her, but I will not be defending her. Not here. No. I don't do this defending nonsense. You work for these people. You should be more mindful and be more respectful, but you're not. You're just like some of the people that want to push and overstep your boundaries, and you got punished. Let's keep reading. The Daily Wire and Candace Owens have ended their relationship. Jeremy Bourne, the chief executive of the Daily Wire, and in a statement post online, Owens confirmed the news in her own post, writing, "The rumors are true. I am finally free." No, baby, you're not free, because once they let the chains go, where are you gonna go? You got nowhere to go, bitch. No, you got nowhere to go. No. You have nowhere to go. So where are you gonna go if the chains are released? Are you gonna come to the Negro sector? Are you gonna come to the pro-black sector? Are you gonna come to the, what do you call it? Hotep sector? Are you gonna come to the Hebrew Israelite sector? Are you gonna come to the divester sector? Are you gonna go and even go as further as go to the church sector? And if I didn't say this, I'll say it. Are you gonna go to the conscious circuit sector? Or beef? Nonetheless, you got nowhere to go, bitch. You gotta come back to black folks, which I am so disappointed that they're gonna sit there praise this witch, and they're gonna praise her to the one point where it said, "Oh, welcome back, sweetie. We welcome you." we we miss you. And you know, it's typical for Negroes that we are so happy and to embrace alleged traitors with open arms that it's not no joke now. Like literally, it's not no joke now. We do it freely. We do it without thinking about it. We do it with no conscience, or we do it because really truly we just love people that are traitors. Now, a lot of people say, well, there are men that's traitors too, but we're not focused on men today. We're gonna talk about this right here. This chick right here. Oh no. All this live stream is about you. Oh yes, baby, it's all about you. Nothing better than talking about you. Because I've seen the interviews with other podcasts. Well, one of them actually. I didn't really watch all of them because I didn't have time and I don't really care. But especially this one, and I'm gonna sit there and listen to it for myself with y'all guys' help, and we're gonna dissect this nonsense personally because I want to know really, really, truly what is the hype and the issue that a lot of black men are getting in their feelings. Some, not all, about this bedwitch. Anyway, let's keep reading. Owens, a popular commentator, notorious for promoting misinformation. Let's read that again. Notorious for promoting misinformation. 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 Do you hear that? Misinformation. Mm. Mm. So after all this time, she works for a news outlet that does not give accurate information. Imagine that. Really imagine that. I mean, it speaks for itself. What that says for you. And trust me, she said a lot of misinformation for not only non-blacks, allegedly, but she was going in and saying a lot of misinformation about black folks, which I'm not going to divulge and go into what it is. If y'all really want to know, you go back to the Daily Wire and all her little talking points, and you could for yourself dissect that bitch. I'm not wasting my time doing it. I'm not. I just don't got the time. I just don't got the energy. I'm sorry, guys. I'm sorry. I heard all the talking points, all this and this nonsense, and I just don't feel it's in the best interest to go any further into that because once you show your colors, that's pretty much it. So now let's go into it. Oh, and I forgot who I got a message. Hold on. All right, let's keep going. Misinformation and conspiracy theories on the wide range of topics from, vaccinations, immigrations. Join Daily Wire she joins the Daily Wire in 2021. So she has not been this thing for not even nearly 3 years, or maybe close to 3 years, because 2021. Yeah, roughly 3 years now. Yeah. The online outlet was stood by her over the years, despite her panicking for trafficking in extremist and dishonest rhetoric. But since October 7th, Hamas terror attack on Israel, Owens has repeatedly waded into anti-Semitic waters as she fiercely criticized Israel's smuggling of the Jewish government was committed genocide in Gaza, and claims there is a sinister small ring of what they call people of what they call small hats in Hollywood and Washington D.C. to involve something quite sinister. And maybe she's right, but the problem is, can you prove what you're saying? You can't lay out claims and no evidence. But that's and mind you, this is on the daily wrap up, the Daily Wire. This is what they were promoting. This is what they had on their platform when Cam was there. I question it. Anyway, in November, Shapiro, who is also a Jewish man, called out Owens for disgraced rhetoric, blasting her false sophistications on the topic. Without directly naming, Shapiro Owens respond that one cannot serve both gods and money. No, they want money. Money is God, bitch. That's one thing you don't understand. You work for the Daily Wire, bitch. You're taking money from the bitch. What do you mean? Your money is your God. See, it kills me when I read these type of articles like this. It kills me, this wench talking about you can't serve two masters. If that's the case, why are you working for the Wire? And trust me, the Daily Wire was paying Candace lovely for 3 years. Okay. I'm trying to understand that rhetoric. Hold on. All right. So this outrage. I mean, really, this outrage of talking about serving God and master and money. I mean, miss me with that crap. Cry me a river. I don't give a crap about that. But anyway, let's keep going. All right, and it says here, where was I? A Barzian dig at the Daily Wire co-founder that was the wrench in an age-old anti-Semitic trope. At the time, Shapiro hit back, Candace, if you feel that taking money from the Daily Wire somehow comes between you and God, by all means quit. And trust me, her going by herself and being a lone star and having or starring wherever she's trying to start, she's not gonna do this by herself. She's gonna need the assistance of you Negroes to help perpetuate her little next media podcast, her YouTube channel. So when she gets her numbers, she's gonna go on and still be talking about you niggas. Mark my word. She hasn't stopped doing it when she was in working for these people, and she ain't gonna stop now. And if you don't believe that, I got somewhere where you could go buy, and it's gonna cost you priceless. Let's go. Owens then attacks Shapiro in an interview with Tucker Carlson, the right-wing extremist who was fired last year from Fox News, accusing him of ad hominem attacks. In recent days, Owens has continued to generate more controversy, liking a post on X in which a user accused a rabbi of being drunk on Christian, crimson blood. Owens' behaviors earned her the praise of those pushing hatred of the Jewish community, which the Anti-Defamation League noted Thursday when it blasts her for pushing an anti-Semitic agenda and fueling the fire of hate. Yes, which she did. And she did it on the Daily Wire's platform. And they're in their right to really, what they call, cancel you. And like I said, we go back to the notion that you talking about you can't serve two masters, money and God. Well, you serve them, Candace, and God told you, be gone. That's what he did. He said, be gone. And you were sent back off your merry way. Okay. Okay. Owens' behavior earns her the praise of those pushing hatred of the Jewish community, which she did, which the Anti-Defamation League note Thursday when it blasted her for pushing the anti-Semitic agenda and fueling the fire of hate. Owens responded by accusing the ADL of having turned their smear merchants' guns on her. Yeah, and you have no power, baby. They will turn on you, and there's not way will turn you. They will turn on you with a smile on their face, and after they're done, they just go like this. All right, time to get kick out the winch. Next person. That's how they see it. Oh, you don't play by my rules? Go. They just kick you out. It reminds me of that scene when Omarosa got kicked out of the White House by Donald Trump. That shit was funny as hell. I ain't gonna lie. I don't know if y'all guys remember that. Anyhow. All right, what else? Their attacks will have opposed desired effects, Owens said, awakening world. While Owens will no longer have a home at Daily Wire, she still maintains a large platform, which, the platform is going to be maintained by who follows her. Keep that in mind. And she's going to these so-called Negro podcasters. She's looking for a new following. She don't got no following. I'm convinced if you were that good, and let's go there, guys. If she was that good, right? Last place I want to know if you did something that you might get you fired, you should already have your base set up and you should be just moving forward like it's no tomorrow. You should move on with your media, your journalism, wherever the hell you do, and keep pushing. But no, once you know that the jig is up and you're going to be canceled and probably be blackballed and all other media platforms, the only alternative you have is you're going to depend on Negroes. The same black community that she's been talking crap out for years. And let's be honest, guys. You should never trust a woman that is in beds with non-black men. I mean, as much as I try to fight it and say maybe some of them might not know what they're doing, I come to realize they do know what they're doing, and not only they know what they're doing, but they're, in my opinion, a greater enemy to you, black man. Yes. Oh, yes. Bay wedging does pay off. Or I should say it does not really pay off in the end. It might pay in the short term, but in the long run, it does not, unfortunately. And I feel sorry. It should pay off in the long run, but let's be honest, it doesn't. I think one guy said it best. How you I forgot the name of it, but it'll come back to me. Anyway, let's keep reading. And I'm gonna run this audio tape of her in one of these podcasts. While Owens will know, okay. Her extremist commentary has catapulted her to fame in right-wing circles, and she boasts millions of followers across her various social media accounts. In September, she was suspended from YouTube for her anti-LGBTQ commentary after violating the platform's rules of hate speech. I know she did. And it's funny. Since she is going a little more off the wall, I don't see her personally lasting long. I might just jump off this because this group don't really. I don't see that in the long run she'll be on YouTube. She might be on YouTube, but it's going to be very much watched in her mind in regards to what she's going to be saying, because now she doesn't really have no direct income. The Daily Wire was her main income. They said she did post on her YouTube channel, but she stopped doing it years ago. Now she's going to probably have to focus and do more. But the problem is, wherever your audience is on YouTube, you're going to have to take it seriously to the point that you're going to start mixing and migrating from different platforms. Because if YouTube on your own channel hits you for your commentaries for people that are part of the LGBTQ community, then it tells you what you're doing now is only nothing compared what is to come. if you're on yourself or running your own show. Because you have no filter, sweetie. You just don't. Sorry. And now, let's keep reading. Owens has long been a supporter of former President Donald Trump, amplifying his culture warrior rhetoric to her young online audience, which mostly are MAGAs. I truly believe that Donald Trump isn't just the leader of the free world, but the savior of. Oh man! Oh my God! Oh my God! Man, I'm gonna leave that alone. She wrote in a social media post in 2018, 6 years ago. Last month, she was photographing with Trump in UFC events, Las Vegas. It fights night. She wrote in a photo caption, "Fighters only." The Daily Wire states slates the host is on no stranger to controversy and have frequently promote the anti-LGBTQ themes and tropes. Matt Walsh, another extremist commentator, employs by the Nashville-based company, has demonized gay, transgender, etc., etc., etc. People on his program. Calling for doctors who perform, altercation to be imprisoned and executed. That's it. So,
always feel great.
So, that is just the one piece of the article. Hope you guys hear me good. Hope you liking the stream so far. Make sure you hit the like button. Likes are free. Make sure to leave comments. Support the channel. Once people start for a donation, and I will highly advise people start donating, please. I just know channel, like anything, is helpful and grow for the channel when you contribute. I will start opening the chat room once people start from, let's say, $5 more to the chat room. Most likely, I will open up. More than that, you guys could sit back and and enjoy the stream and hear me talk. And if all's well, I might just open up for y'all. I just might open up. I'm just looking at some right now. All right. Okay, so now what I'm gonna do, I'm gonna probably run this. And did I forget anything? Oh, matter of fact, before I run it, I want to look at the podcast that Candace Owens did appear on. They said she appeared on Joe Budden's podcast. She appeared on Fresh and Fit. She did appear on what's the other podcast? I know it's the Breakfast Club she appeared on. And she appeared on a lot of black podcasters since she has been fired from the, I guess, since she was fired from the Daily Wire. And I'm looking at her background. Look like she came out with a book. Let me see when this book came out. The Blackout: How Black Americans Can Make It Second Escape from Democrat. See, now look at these dumb, stupid books she writes. And let me tell you something. For those that when y'all hear this clip I'm running, when she's talking about running from Democrat Party, right? Matter of fact, I'll run it and let y'all hear from yourself, because I find it very questionable that what Democrat Party are you talking about? Because Democrats don't really look in the best interest of black folks, including the Republicans. So you're saying Republicans are better? See, the problem with black folks, and I'm gonna say this, as long as you are picking a side, regardless what state you're in, that side in the long run does not see and really cater to your best interests. And no one's going to tell you this, but I'm going to tell you this: they don't, and they shouldn't either. Anyhow, and I'm just looking at it now. All right, so this came out when she was 31. So I'm going back, and that's her only book. And she probably will come out with another book now. Now she's no longer working for the Daily Wire. And her husband is Robert Owens. And let me look at his background. Let me see the background for Robert Owens. It's not much. I don't see much of his information about Robert. I'm not sure how old Robert Owens is. Yeah. Doesn't really get into detail. Well, there's a join thing, but I'm not going to do all that. I'm not creating a LinkedIn for all that. Let me look at anything else about this dude. Let me see. All right. Is this the one? All right. All right. This is not him. I'm going down to see if I can find Robert Owens. Well, there's not much information about her husband, so I would take it he's probably not much, maybe 2-3 years older than him, maybe. And I'm just guessing. Anyhow, let's go and listen to this tape. For all y'all on, let's listen in, and we're gonna dissect this one by one. So, like always, and let me find if I got my fair use up in here. All right, let's go. Let's hit it. Fair use.
Back to New York. You're originally from here, right?
Yeah, I was born in New York, raised in Stanford, and then lived in New York after university for like 7 years. So I worked just 2 blocks away from here.
What part of New York?
Did I live in or?
Was born.
I was
raised.
born in White Plains.
Oh, White Plains. Okay, by the Bronx. Okay.
What is the Candace Owens origin story? I mean, I know a little bit of it because me and you actually used to have a lot of conversations back in the.
Now, it says she's from Stanford, Connecticut. I mean, I don't know if it's Connecticut. Let's check where Candace originally from. And it says she's an activist, but who believes that nonsense? I'm looking at her background now, guys. It says she also co-founded Blexen. This is weird. A Brandon Tate picture. From White Plains, New York. And Owens was raised with her siblings by her grandparents from around the age 11 and 12. After her parents divorced, she is the third of 4 children. She said her prenatal grandfather, Robert Owens, a Black American, was born in North Carolina. Okay. Her grandfather was born in North Carolina. Okay. Owens is also a Caribbean American heritage through her grandmother, who is originally from St. Thomas, Virgin Islands, VA. I think it's VA. And she is a graduate of Stanford High School. All right. Where is Stanford? Black conservative. Okay, keep going. All right. 2007, while at 17 years of a year-old senior in high school, Owens received 3 racist death threats, voicemail message. Yeah, we know about that. Which she didn't really care much. Let's see, right? She only got 37,000 for that shit. Yeah. And I'm looking at this now. In 2015, Owens was CEO of Degrees 180, a marketing agency that offers content produced by planning service, including blog of variety topics. Okay. I'm scanning, looking through this. I'm looking where in Stanford she was raised, and I don't see it. And it's conservative activism, which I don't care about much. MAGA, Rockford, Illinois, and all that stuff. Lexington, which we don't know what the hell that is. Where is it? Political views? Not that. Foreign policy, no. Race relations, Owens is known as creator for Black Lives Matter movement. Yeah, we don't care about that. You're not conservative. I don't know why people keep talking that conservative. I'm looking at this. Women's rights. I'm just scrolling down, guys. I'm trying to find this crap. They talking about LGBT who don't care about immigration, Owens Express, and welfare. Yeah, right. Climate change. Who cares about that? And it does not say here, guys. It does not say at all. And she said she met her British husband, George Farmer, in 2018. So she met this dude at around 29 years of age. So looks to me, if she's been married for roughly 3 to 4 years, I would say most likely she got married in 2020 at best. The son of Lord Farmer was a chairman of Turner Point UK at the time. The two developed a connection through their shared conservative values, and even now I know how her husband is conservative and he's married to a black woman. I don't know how that works. Anyhow, started dating before George proposed her just weeks after their first meeting. The two became engaged in 2019. Okay. They got engaged in 2019. Okay. And were married in August that year at the Trump Winery in Charlottesville, Virginia. So look like she's been married now for almost 5 years. That's still a young, still fairly new marriage, personally. All right, well, that's what the background says about her former life. So if I would say Stanford, might be either in Massachusetts or Connecticut. Either or, that's the background. So let's listen into this. Let's continue listening. Fair.
Before she changed her number. But
he was mad about that.
I mean, I did change mine, but you know,
girl, he was mad about that. He was like, I've been hitting up, and she ain't going
because it kept going blue. I was like, is she just ignoring me?
No, I wouldn't have ignored you. I would have answered. I changed my number. I try to do it every couple of years.
Okay. What for? What? Just because?
Because then you collect all these people that are texting you. You're like, actually, I don't want to talk to this person anymore. But I don't want to tell them I don't want to talk to them anymore. Mm-hmm. So I just changed my number.
And I'm sure the more you grow, a lot of your family members hit you up for money and stuff like that.
Yeah. I mean, it's usually not family members, just random people from your past.
You know, it's going to come to a point how that's going to work with the changing numbers. It's going to come to a point they're going to soon cut back on people are able to change their numbers. And in my opinion, why I see that in a foreseen future is because there's so many numbers in the world. That if you change your number every year or so, that's going to bring problematic. In my opinion, now a lot of people say it's a business. I think I disagree. Only thing that they require that it's going to be changed is your whole cell phone number, your cell phone. They want you to change that more than a year or after 2 years than your number. And there's ways, people, if you don't want nobody contact anymore, you know the drill, you know the deal. You do that feature on your phone, you say block and are not available, and that ends people contacting you. So that's simple. Have I ever changed my number? Now I think about it. I don't think I ever changed my number. Now I think about it. I don't think I see the importance. Maybe down the line, maybe, I don't know. Because I don't think it's important to me. I'm a man. I'm different. But who knows? If people don't want nobody talking to or communicate, you know what to do. Anyhow, let's keep listening. Fair's.
I haven't spoken to you in forever, but still have your number, and we'll text you and ask for a favor.
Like Charlamagne.
No. It wasn't him. It wasn't about him. I actually should have messaged you my new number.
Where did all of this begin for Candace Owens?
You know, I feel like I have just a very regular story. Like I said, like I was born in New York, raised in Stanford. There was nothing, particularly that stood out in my childhood that made me think that I was going to go into politics. I feel like I landed into politics kind of accidentally. Mm-hmm. And I say accidentally because I thought I was a liberal my whole life. I thought I was on the left my whole life and really didn't pay attention to politics in any meaningful way. And then, when Trump was running for office, I didn't want him to be elected. I was like this, not because I thought he was a racist or a sexist, but just because I thought it was crazy to go from Obama, who had a certain decorum about him, to suddenly this sort of brash New Yorker. Mm-hmm. But I thought it was weird when all of a sudden the people that liked Trump, everyone thought he was like this iconic symbol of business. He was in rap songs. Trump was a status, flipped on him in 1 second. I didn't buy the narrative that he was in the media for 3-4 decades, and suddenly you wanted me to believe overnight that he was like Adolf Hitler and a racist. So I just didn't trust the media's narrative about him, and so I decided to actually listen to what he said. I still didn't vote for him in 2016, but I want.
Yeah, I know. Let's keep listening.
To just listen to what he actually said, and then when I saw what he was saying versus how it was being reported, I just found it to be extremely dishonest. So I started researching more, learning more, And then I got kind of angry, like just with the lies, because I do think Black Americans are intentionally manipulated emotionally by the media, and kind of kept dumb but emotional intentionally by the school system. And I started reading up on like Thomas Sowell, Shelby Steele, a bunch of Black
So-called conservatives. Yeah. So-called conservatives. And you know, a lot of non-Black people talk about Thomas Sowell. Like, this man is the second coming of Black Christ for the Black community, or for white people. I don't know what's the affection of Thomas Sowell. I don't want to look what the guy looked like, but I see a lot of people keep referencing him when they want to push their so-called alleged race antics to Black folks. Anyhow, let's keep listening.
scholars I originally had dismissed as Uncle Tom's, and irony now is I get calls Uncle Tom all the time. So I got what was coming, but yeah, and then I realized that actually I've always been a conservative. I just didn't know it. And economically speaking, of course, the conservative arguments make the most sense.
Does that bother you that people call you an Uncle Tom?
No, not at all. First off, because if they read the book, Uncle Tom was the hero. But also because I get it. How can I fault people for something that I would have?
That's why they instead of them calling you Uncle Tom, they would, the best word to reference is call you coon. But you're right, Uncle Tom was a hero, from what I'm hearing. And I have not gone through Uncle Tom's cabin personally. And not saying I wouldn't want to, but I already got a few books that deal with Negro history. And some of them explain it more better than these other books, in my opinion. Because when you go and get books, especially talking about actual history, what happened in America, you really want to get the ones that, in my opinion, the ones they don't talk about. Because if you're reading books about how you're getting your ass whooped every time, those are books you don't want to be consuming and, indulging in your psyche that you always getting your butt kicked by other groups of men. You want books to know, say, how that when you came and kicked their butts, that's more, goes a long way. That's just my opinion. Let's keep going. Farious.
Engaged in for the majority of my life, I thought the same thing about Black conservatives. Like, I thought it was this betrayal, but I never actually understood it. It was just an emotional response. And I think that kind of is, if you come out of the public school system, I can't imagine how you could be a Black conservative when just the way that they even tell us our own history is just not true,
Do you think that that's true with most people though? Like, when you think of a Trump or just anybody, you're fine with them, but then you learn like their politics, or you learn what they believe spiritually, and then you're like, you're turned off from it.
Yeah, and I don't even think it's necessarily the politics. I really do think the media plays the biggest part in it, because Trump, as far as I know, Trump's been, maybe he used to be a Democrat, but he's been a Republican and a conservative for a long time. I mean, we know he had to have been a conservative in terms of economics. He's wealthy, so you'd be hard pressed to find someone that's wealthy and advocating for Marxist beliefs. But yeah, I just feel like it's more about the media wants power. The media has a vested interest in things politically, and they like to make us think that we're having this open conversation and we're learning the truth about people. But these are just hatchet smear jobs, libeling people, and I think deluding a ton of people to turn against.
Actually, they said Donald Trump right now is considered wealthy. I still say, in my opinion, he's new money. He's rich. He's not wealthy. Because to be wealthy, you're going to have your sons and daughters have your money and they do something with it. And it should range from at least a good, healthy range of wealth should be no greater than 2 generations. He is a first generation millionaire, now billionaire, if allegedly, and right now his billionaires is being questioned right now. Mr. J Lion Monix, what link you want me to drop? Do you want me to drop the call link? If you want, let me know. And so I would believe that that he is rich but not wealthy yet. I think a lot of people get misconstrued because you see a man as a multimillionaire and a billionaire that they're wealthy. No, you're not. Wealth is exchange of passing down something. If your father was doing well, and let's say he might not be a millionaire, but he did very well, and then you became adult and became a millionaire, even go as far as surpassing millionaire to billionaire, then obviously obviously now you're at a stage of wealth building. And once he transitions and he has children that depend where they do with his money, what they're doing right now, social economically, they will be considered in the line of what they consider now wealth, because their father is fresh money that passed down what he did to them. That's considered now what we call wealth. And usually after their children, the next person, then they really consider wealthy. But that's how it's supposed to go. All right, Trump second generation rich. Yeah, so that means he's not wealthy. So I mean, he's second generation rich. Once he's go and his children come to age, with some are adults already, including his youngest son, if they keep the trajectory where they're at and their father passed down something, and what I mean by pass down, I don't mean your father should be passed down all his money and what he does to you. He should give you enough, and what you take, you should take and grow further. That's when you know that you are in a direction with your family in an even exchange of wealth. That's how I define wealth. Now, a lot of people are going to question me and they're going to argue me back and forth and they're going to say that's wrong. He is rich. He's considered wealth because he's been. No, that's not how it works. Look at all men, families right now in history that's still standing, that still are getting, and when I mean getting, they're still reaping the monies from their foreparents. I'll give you one example. Rockefellers. That's it. And I could probably name some other, but you will get the point. But we don't want to hold on to this conversation. Let's keep pushing forward. Fair use, fair use. And make sure, guys, you watch it. I know y'all watch it. You're liking the video. Hit the super chat. Please do not just watch the video and leave. No. Stay for a few minutes so that way it counts as a view. If you drop off after liking it, it will not count as a view. Your like might not be even granted on YouTube. The best bet to make this work, you're going to have to stay onto the stream for roughly 2 minutes or more. That's all I'm saying. How I know? I tested it. So let's keep going. And please support the channel by hitting super chat or cash app. Fair use, fair use.
Against their own best interests.
So were you more anti-media as opposed to being pro-Trump?
Well, no, I actually, once I actually heard what he had to say, I was like, that's a pretty solid pitch. I mean, it was his Dimondale, Michigan speech, particularly. He got up there and he just started listing all of the statistics in Black America in terms of poverty. I mean, these were just real statistics that he was talking about. And his pitch was basically like, you've been giving your vote to Democrats for 60 years. Why don't you just try something different? You know, I think that's a pretty good elevator pitch. Like, hey, you've been doing the same thing for a long time. I'm not saying I'm amazing, but why don't we try something different and see if it gets better for you? And then suddenly I like flipped over to CNN and it was Don Lemon's like crying. You know, I think it was, I'm maybe being, but it was just, they were so dramatic and they were lying about what he said. They're like, he looked you in the face and told you you were poor. Like, I'm like, that's not what he did at all. So I just got interested. I'm a very curious, interested person. If I get interested in something, I will just take it all the way, read books. And I'm like, why are they doing this? Like, why are all the media companies that I believed my whole life just lying about it? Just say what he actually said and let Black Americans decide for themselves if that's a good enough pitch. They may have said no. I thought it was interesting, but the lying is something that I think is outrageous. It's gotten out of control.
I think it's worse now. I think it's worse now because not only do you have people who will just create the headlines based off what they feel you said as opposed to what you said. You have people that will just straight up manipulate your audio, manipulate your video, just to push a narrative. One
of the wildest things, the craziest things that people say about me all the time, and it drives me crazy because it's literally made up. They're like, Candace said racism doesn't exist. If you go find that headline of Candace says racism doesn't exist, they didn't put it in quotation marks because I never said it. They were like, Candace said racism doesn't exist because she's quote unquote never been a slave. The words never been a slave came out of my mouth, but I never said racism doesn't exist. And it was in the context of an entire speech. The media knew that Black people were not going to go watch the speech or try to find the original speech. They were just going to read the headline and react and be like, oh my God, Candace Owens.
And that's the problem with a lot of Black folks. That's the biggest problem. They get too emotional and fall under the traps of what is. And you know, it's funny. I find that Black people read. So shocking, but okay. That you're only taking partial of the information that was posted, either a blog or maybe some headline of a newspaper, digital newspaper to be exact. And now you take it as gospel. I find that very suspect. But it goes to show that if you deal with a certain side or wing, that they will assume that saying they're racist. I don't like it. I mean, really? You live in a racist country. You know racism is not going away because you pick a different side that said is less racist. It kills me if you're a black person, you still think and don't understand how racism really works in this country, especially that's old as hell. Still don't know how race works in this country. It baffles me. It really baffles me. Anyway, let me keep going. Various.
Said racism doesn't exist. Like, how could she say this? She's a hypocrite. She's a liar. This happened to her in her childhood.
Yeah, you sued your high school for racism.
Yeah,
so clearly...
it's actually not that's not what happened. I didn't sue my high school for racism. But
not protecting you during that time. I said right.
Hmm?
They said for not protecting you. They said
I just did deal with the media does.
Yep, absolutely.
Yeah, no, it's fine. I mean, I get it because it's something that I've talked about at length. But essentially, I had the situation happen to me in high school where somebody that I was actually best friends with left me horrific voicemails. They were racist voicemails. There's no other way to slice it.
They called you a nigga because you didn't want to date him?
No, he actually, I think he was gay, to be honest. It was nothing about dating. I think this was kind of a circumstance of like, I had my first beer. I'll be honest, I got a boyfriend and I just stopped hanging out with my friends. Very typical high school, stupid stuff. And this gay guy that I was friends with was like outraged by it. And one night he was out drinking with kids that were way younger than him that I had never met. And they left me horrific voicemails. I mean, like bringing in like Rosa Parks. There was tons of threats.
They did what?
They were just
They
like
butt
it
stuff
was.
up about Rosa Parks.
Like it was. There was no way to slice it, but it was. They were extremely racist, and it was terrifying too because I didn't know who the phone calls were coming from. Long story short, one of the kids in the car happened to be the governor of Connecticut's son, so it became this sort of overnight political story. And while it was going on, and there were like news cameras in front of the school, I left school and just homeschooled for, I think it was about 6 to 8 weeks. And basically, we got reimbursed for the time that I was homeschooling, is what happened. But yeah, so when people retell that story now, it's like she sued her school for racism and the NAACP helped her. And I'm like, no, the NAACP did not help me. They used my face and my name to fundraise for the NAACP, which is actually the reason why I don't like the NAACP. It's like a very valid reason because I was a little girl, I was 16, 17 years old, and it was a really hard situation to go through as a child. I'm not like I am now, 34 years old and married with that support system. It was kind of fame.
Oh, so that's why she does not like the NAACP to this day. Well, that's what they're known for. They're known for to take advantage of, I'm sorry to say, black folks to galvanize and make money. But what do you expect with NAACP? And mind you, they were run by, the same people that she's talked bad about, Jewish people, but we all know about that history. I mean, I'm not going to recant that history. But the point is this, that NAACP, the NAACP is a real joke. And it's been a joke for a long time. And I don't know why people still trust that organization, but I wouldn't, but that's my opinion. Let's keep going. Various.
You don't want, But I'm actually very grateful that it happened to me because it allowed me to really consider what the media was. Even though I was still a liberal, I knew what the media was. Like I knew the media was all about selling a headline. I knew then I got an early lesson in the NAACP. I think organizations that never want racism to go away, because how are they going to fundraise? Like if you're a CEO of the NAACP and you're earning X amount of dollars, you got to keep the racism narrative going on or you're going to work yourself out of business. So the stuff that I talk about is always based on my experiences, and so it's just crazy to see how it gets manipulated in the press.
Now, you said something earlier. You said that you wanted to listen to what Trump had to say. You said in 2016 you still didn't vote for him. So looking at the country now, right? Of course, there's Trump, there's Biden. Who do you think?
Before she answers that question, that's a very good point that Candace laid out. If the NAACP still does not function off racism, it would no longer exist, which I would totally go in for. Not only it will not exist, NAACP will have to go under, and they're going to create another organization to take its place. But come here, it's been around for over 115 years. The NAACP been around for over a century. If they go under, if racism is really so-called soft, they will create another organization to replace it. That's going to be not even close as effective, in my opinion. That's how I see it going to play out. All right, let's keep going. Fair use, fair use.
I think it's better for our community. And why?
Obviously, well, first and foremost, just for everybody, you should have a president that's, you know, not mentally deteriorating like Biden is. I mean, he's in full mental deterioration. It's crazy to pretend anything else that's happening right now. It's scary first and foremost because we have real enemies out there, and you have a person that can't lead. You know, he can't remember what he ate for breakfast. He's saying things. I mean, the amount of times that he keeps talking about his dead son as if he's alive, it's very alarming. And I don't say that with any ill will in my heart either, because he's showing signs of when my grandfather, who passed a couple of years ago, started, you know, his mind started diminishing, and you start to see those early signs of dementia. The way he walks, his gait, the way that he's falling, that this is crazy. Everyone should be outraged, whether you're on the left or the right. But in terms of the better candidate for Black Americans, I asked people the question, how were you living under Trump? The person that they told you was going to put us back into chains and we were all going to be slaves again. How was the economy under Trump, and how are you doing today? And every time you ask that question, everyone knows that they were living better under Trump because he was deregulating the environment, and people were just living better under Trump. And he is, in my opinion, a better president because at least he's telling you the truth and he's telling you what he actually thinks. You know, one of the things that I hated the most about him when he first came down the escalator, I was like, oh, he's way too brash. You know, Obama sounds way more polite. But I asked the question, do you want to be politely lied to, or have somebody that's at least telling you what they think about you in no uncertain terms? So, you know, I like Trump for a ton of reasons. And for me, it was always about the economic argument. And I knew that he was going to be a better candidate for Black Americans because of that, especially, you know, build the wall sounded so wild, right? Back in 2016, it sounded wild. It sounded xenophobic. And I was saying, if these illegals get into the inner city communities, the first people that are going to be harmed are going to be Black Americans.
People actually.
Now, that's a lot, she said. Let's look at that. I've not really seen anything besides what I've heard, and maybe I should find these articles myself and dedicate it on this channel, which I've been thinking about, but I have another second channel or another alternate channel which you guys can follow. Y'all know the deal. If I put it in the chat room, I will do so. But it deals more with the politics and book readings, various books that I pick, you know, some good, some bad, some boring. And I really focus more on the political conversation over there. And the reason why I don't do it over here, because this is more of an environment, a channel that really focuses more about chaos reign and the chaos of the world present itself. I don't go too much into it if it's not really for the intention of this channel. But let's say Trump did what he did for 4 years and people did fine. A lot of people can't articulate what he did, what policy he did that really helped galvanize the American public. Same with Biden. Now, I've heard from one particular podcaster say that this is what Biden did and it worked. Okay. But really true, when I think about overall, what did these presidents really did to better the overall health for overall health of Americans, including Black folks, because Black people are Americans. If I ask this crucial question, now I'm going to really sit back and think crucially about this. And if we can't articulate and give pinpoints that this will make us better and it will perpetuate us in the future, if not, we have some work to do as Black folks, especially. That means we're going to get organized. We're going to take politics a little more seriously, and we're going to have to probably maybe get our money up in some way. That's how I see it. That's how I view it. Now, anybody could question me, that's fine, but that's how I really view it, you know. Anyhow, let's keep going. Fair use, fair use.
Were mad at you, right? When you got into the conversation with T.I. at the Revolt Music Conference, right? And you were saying that, and people didn't understand it, but it seems like people are understanding what you were trying to say back then.
Yeah, and I am so happy to have those moments because, like, I think T.I. is a trash person. You know, I'll say that 1,000 times over because, first and foremost, I had spoken to T.I. prior to that event. Like, T.I. was the only person on stage that I actually knew, and for the same reasons that I met you. Kanye had put us in touch. We had talked, and I know that T.I. thinks more conservatively. So he was literally putting on a show. And so it just makes me wonder, especially with all the stuff that, like, came out in the Diddy lawsuit, like, who's controlling T.I.? Because that was wild. He was literally putting on a show like he didn't know me on stage. Like, he was surprised I was saying the stuff. He was way more level-headed and rational when we were on the phone. And I still look back on the moment. I'm like, what was he doing? It was like a circus act up there. And he was doing something that I thought was harmful because we were actually having a great discussion. And yet he created a little moment, and that was all the media ran with, despite the fact we were on that stage for hours. They ran with that moment, and I was really upset about it. But you're right. I was talking a lot about illegal immigration and saying this is something that we need to pay attention to, because eventually the black vote's not going to matter. Something that they worked so hard for is not going to matter. They get enough illegals in. What are we at? 10 million under Biden? Mm-hmm. And they're doing it intentionally. Like, it's going to be the same thing that they did to black Americans in the 60s. What Lyndon Baines Johnson did when he established welfareism and the Great Society Act. They want to get these people in, offer them handouts, and turn them into economic slaves that will continue to vote for Democrats because they're getting free handouts. And it's incredibly racist, first and foremost.
But the handouts black people get, it's not really good anyway. So I'm not sure why that is such an important premise, especially when we talk about welfare and all this nonsense. Which I heard there's some policies that push back on that. I can't remember which policies. I think some women were involved to really push back on certain policies on that welfare thing and the stipulations where you don't have a man in the house. And I know that's the talk point a lot of men will be pushing for some time now. And like I said, I'm not going to waste time argue it. But I know it's saying that, if your parents, dealt with that subsidies and that it played ball in order to eat, you have a bigger problem on your hand than anything else, in my opinion. You got bigger problems. I mean, no institution should sit there, make you be dependent for not only for years, but a generation. And if you're on those supplements for a generation or two, that tells me that you solely want to be back into slavery and be controlled permanently. Personally, where you could have just sit there, take the government subsidies, start to really maybe work your way up, maybe get a little different education there, get another adequate employment, and eventually get yourself off that. That would be the better approach. But you can't tell people nothing. Anyhow, let's keep listening. Fair use.
But because black Americans a lot of black Americans, I should say, are still living under this deception that Lyndon Baines Johnson was a good president, even though he wasn't a avowed racist. I mean, he hated black people. I mean, one of the so many times, hard R referring to us as the N-word. I'll have those N-words voting Democrat for the next 200 years. And this man is being hailed as a hero because he had to sign the Civil Rights Act, essentially with a figurative gun to his head because the country was on fire. JFK had just died, and there were riots in the streets protesting because of racism. And he did not want to sign it, but he did. And with the other hand, he signed the Great Society Act and incentivized welfareism and, programs to incentivize not marrying black men. To think that we had government agents knocking on the door, going into the homes of black women and being like, there better not be a man that lives here. We're just here to check to make sure. If you want this check, dad can't be home. Every other ill that black America is facing today is because we've removed fathers from the home. So I'm like a big, I use my platform to talk about men a lot and the need for male leadership, everything that is so harmful, this, Me Too, false feminism, all of this crap. It's anti-man, and it's anti-man for a reason, because a society cannot survive without strong men. A household cannot survive without strong men. We need strong men to lead homes. And so the fracturing of the black family, I think, was the test. Like we were the mice in the experiment. Like, let's see how that goes. And now they're kind of doing that writ large. And I hate feminism so much. I can't even tell you, because what it's about is it's just an attack on men.
Oh, you just said a lot, Candace. So let's talk about some of these things. Now, you said a lot. Now with the politicians.
Now, like I said, same talking points. That they need strong black men. All this and that. And you don't got a black husband. Ain't that something? I tell you, the audacity, the insanity, it just baffles me nowadays that we listen to this crap. Some people talk black, but they're sleeping white. You gotta pick a struggle at the end of the day. You gotta pick a struggle, I know it is, you think this non-black man will be a much better option and then you'll be safe. well, it's hard for us to believe that, but okay. But we know that's not real legit, quite legit. That's like a legit claim in the long run. Personally, I think that if those claims about what is in the best interest of black people, especially talking about black men, I mean, it would be nice that your mate should be a reflection of your concern about black men. And I'll say this for the people to understand. To a lot of people, when I said earlier about this conservatism mindset, you cannot be a black person, make you a conservative, and you're dating sleeping out. It don't work like that. You know what I'm saying? There's no real exception. There's no exception to the rule. Most other race people that are conservative, they're conservative all the way, including their wallets and who they mate and procreate with. When it comes to black folks, we take the term conservatism and we flip it upside down and say we make it the way we see fit of who's conservative. And you can't do that. You cannot do that. And now let's keep going. Various.
Right? Whether it's Lyndon B. Johnson, Trump, Biden, I think people are able to ignore a lot of their BS as long as they can get something done.
Yeah.
That's what it seems like. So that's why I don't even like to talk about the person. I like to talk about the policy. So what is the difference between traditional conservatives and MAGA?
Well, I would say between traditional conservatives and MAGA.
Yeah, like before what the Conservative Party was before MAGA and what it is now.
Yeah, so I think what you're describing is that there was this fracture in the conservative movement because people realized that when he was referring to the swamp, what he meant was it didn't actually matter if you were on the left or the right. They were all working together in D.C. and selling out all of America. I mean, there is no reason why you go to D.C. and become a multimillionaire. You're supposed to be there to serve the American people. You're there taking our tax dollars. So what was happening was these lobbying interests, like, Big Pharma goes down and they lobby and they'll offer money to a candidate to go push a drug, like the COVID vaccine, or they'll lobby for war. It's like, biggest lobby, of course, military industrial complex. So we're all suffering. You're going to work because these lobbyists are getting their incentives done by buying out these politicians. And so Trump kind of hit the scene as somebody who wasn't bought and paid for because he didn't need their money. He wasn't like a random congressman going to D.C. with no money. And he just started talking about the swamp. Like, it's not even Republican or Democrat. And I want people to wake up to that because I'm not here like ride or die for Republicans. They all sell us out. Like, the stuff that they did during COVID is criminal. It's criminal. And
expound on that.
I mean, the free handouts. First off, trillions of dollars. You're signing these omnibus bills. If you read into it, where that money is going, it's insane. It's literally going, to museums, boards of museums. They're quite literally money laundering is what's happening when they sign these bills. But they keep it so that the information level is so low for Americans that it's like, oh, COVID's so bad. Like, we're going to give you a check that's like, $300. This basically describes welfarism, right? Like, despite the fact that there's been trillions of dollars since the establishment of welfare, Black Americans are poorer today than we were before it. People don't know this, but during the time of Jim Crow, before
I continue, make sure you guys hit the like button, share the stream, support the channel, super chat or donate, always the goal, $50 or maybe more, roughly. I mean, it's one of them days, one nights where I had to go in on a bed winch. It has to be done because, no one else is going to talk about it. Well, actually, a lot of people did talk about it. And a lot of them have gone in and voiced their opinions about Candace Owens. I am no exception to the rule. And my take on Candace Owens as trying to be as raw or, trying to be really not going there. And I'm pacing myself, but I will go there, my views about the woman, and I know a lot of people that have gotten their feelings about this IQ nonsense, but she's going to eventually talk about that in a second. But meanwhile, y'all guys, make sure to leave a comment, like, and please subscribe to the channel. Surely appreciate it. Let's look at some things right now. All right, let's keep going. Various.
welfare was established in the 1950s, Black Americans were actually outpacing white Americans in this country in terms of economic growth. And the reason for that was because our families were together. We had good values. The government only wants to give you the bare minimum. But where's the rest of the money? Where is it going? They sign these bills making you think that this money is going to you. It's not. They are stealing from the American people. And you look at your congressman, whoever it is that you guys sent down to D.C.,
I'm not sure where she get this idea that black people, when they were married, they were outpacing white folks. I'm still trying to find evidence on that. If anybody got any links or anything like that, or any reference, look this up. I would surely appreciate that. But I don't really. I'm not saying I believe it or is right or is true, but I did not see black people that were not really. They were doing somewhat adequate, but they were not doing well. They were not thriving. And the reason why I say that is because think about this. You do not own piece of the real estate or the economic pie of America. If you look at today as a present, non-black people grossly owns 98 or maybe close to 97% of the wealth in America. You know how much black people own? Roughly 2%. Yeah, 2%. I found it 98%, 2%. That's not really economic thriving if you only own that small. And they just only give you that, and they just didn't want to give you that even a small bit. Now, one time, a couple decades ago, it was like a 1%, but now it's now up to 2%. That's not a lot to be upwardly mobile and saying that you do much better than non-black people in this country for up to the 60s. I'm not sure where people get that information. I don't know where Candace get her information from. She should be citing her source when she opens her fucking mouth. I hate when people just open their mouth and they spit on the lip and there's no reference, no source. Gotta do better than this, guys. Gotta do better than this. Anyhow, let's continue. Fair use, fair use.
And you realize that they're all just puppets. I feel like we're watching a performance, you know, and who can say the most outrageous thing. You know, the Republicans don't want to sign this because they want, you know, slavery and they want you back in chains. You know, the Democrats don't want to sign this because they want grandma to die. Whatever it is, you're watching just to me, it's a play.
That's why I don't think. That's why I think if you're black, you shouldn't be beholden to any political party, Democrat or Republican.
Right. I mean, I think that any concept of saying that I am a Republican forever, a Democrat forever is a nonsense. You know, you should always look at the candidates that are running, and any person that is running saying that they want to grow government is your enemy.
Why do you think people give you a lot of backlash for questioning people and having questions? I see all the time with Charlemagne, if we question something that Kamala Harris did, or question something that Joe Biden did, or question somebody that's Democrat did, why do you think our people have so much backlash when you ask so many questions?
Well, because I think that they don't realize that they've been manipulated against their own interests. And a lot of it is, you know, when you start telling the truth, you become a problem to the establishment, right? So if you're the military industrial complex and you want people to just kind of sleepwalk into another war, and I'm sitting here telling you that, you know, Pentagon just can't keep finding the trillions of dollars that they send overseas. They've got this budget and they're sending all this money to Ukraine, and then they say, oh, we don't know where all the money went. It's being laundered and it's being sent back to a very small group of powerful people. And so when you have someone like me who's cutting through all of the emotional arguments, you have to turn that person into persona non grata, right? And what better way to do it than to have their own community attacking them and saying that they're, you know, pro-white or anti-black. I mean, it's a nonsense things that they say about me. If you listen to what I'm actually saying, I'm sitting here providing a blueprint for Black Americans to get ahead because it's time, okay? It's time. We've been doing this for a very long time in this country. Black America, wake up, okay? They don't like you. They don't like us, okay? There's
so you're not anti-
America
government.
has
There's
yes,
government.
America.
yeah, like the government, the American government. Why would you think the American government wants to help you? Well, at what point in history has that proven to be right? And I'll challenge that and I'll make it wider to all Americans. When has it ever been the circumstance that you felt that the government really just was out for your own best interests?
There never was, Candace, but you sleep beds with the enemy. You do work with them. You worked with them for a few years until they eventually gave you the boot. So why now you think that your views, your conservative nonsense is going to work here? I wonder indeed. What's good, everybody that's in the chat room? I see you in the chat room. Hello. Make sure you hit the like button, share it, and please support the channel with your donation. It will go a long way. Once somebody throws $5 into the chat room, I will open up for everybody to come up. I mean, not come up, open the chat room, and eventually, if everything's said and done, I might just drop a link. And like always, the rule is, please do not just come in the chat room and just hit the like button and disappear. YouTube will not grant no more people if they come onto a stream and they just watch and go. You have to stay in the stream for more than 2 minutes or over 2 minutes for them to count a like or whatever. All right, so let's continue. Fair use.
Think of them as a corporation. They want to grow themselves. They want new departments, bigger departments, larger budgets like any other corporation would want. And they never want to leave DC because we don't have term limits, which we should have, right? If we had term limits and said you can only serve for 4 years, well, then guess what they would be doing for those 4 years? Trying to shrink government because they'd have to come back out and be us, right? When you look at the way that your tax dollars are being spent, you should be outraged. You should be angry, but stop thinking that the enemy is, they constantly have us arguing against each other, women versus men, black versus white, It's a nonsense. The reason why they want us constantly warring is because it distracts from all of us coming together and taking a look at who the real criminals are. And the real criminals are this small group, this small cadre of powerful people that I think we're virtually all still on a plantation. They just made it look nice. You got a nice chair. We got nice chairs here. But I think we're all still on a plantation.
Shut up. It's for the baby shower. So is this the reason why I haven't really heard you pushing people to vote for any particular candidate? Just go around?
Yeah, well, I mean, I'm very clear about the fact I let everything play out, but I absolutely love Vivek Ramaswamy. Obviously, he's not running anymore. But his ideas and his laser sharp focus on what the actual issues were, I thought he was absolutely brilliant. I'm obviously voting for Trump. We were all doing better under Trump. It's that simple. I don't care what else they have to say, the libels, the smears. I get it. You do it to me. So I just don't even pay attention. I actually find it to be quite boring now,
What economic?
Yes, you hear that? Black men. She's going to be Trump 2024. She said that I want Trump to win. I want Trump to make America great again. And a lot of black people get scared and say, oh, you know what happened? They put people in slavery. They this. I said, well, he was in office 3 years. Why he didn't put you in slavery 3 years ago? 4 years ago. Sorry. Not saying there's a possibility, and there's really not a possibility they're going to put people back in chains. They got something more better and more structural than it's putting you back in chains, which you already in chains already because you're chained the mind, but that's not a story. But other than that, most likely, way how they try and push back against him being back in office from what we've seen. Only time will tell. We still got 7 more months left to know how far he'll go running for president, but we shall see. We shall see. Let's keep going. Fair use.
Economically, what were the reasons? Because you said that you didn't like that Republicans were giving out money during 2020.
Both. They were just giving out money during COVID. It was crazy.
But that's what a lot of people loved. They loved the stimulus checks. They loved the PPP. So when you say you were doing better under Trump, that's what people point to. But look at the circumstances it took for that to happen. We don't want to have to go through another pandemic in order to get that money.
Yeah, but the point is that should provide to you a lesson how the government works, because people weren't even thinking ahead. You're like, yeah, I'm getting this free check, so I'm not going to work. Again, incentivizing poor behavior. What ended up happening was a lot of the mom and pop stores closed. Right, a lot of businesses actually had to fold because they couldn't sustain it under the economic environment. They just couldn't thrive. Employees did not want to go to work. It was crazy. And so what ends up happening is the individuals get weaker and the corporations got bigger, right? Only the corporations could have survived in that environment, which is what unfortunately ended up happening. And then we put our own selves on the hook to be taxed into oblivion, to keep paying into this ridiculous thing that we agreed to pay into. It would have been much better for us to instead say, I'm happy to work. I don't want your small check. I want you to stop taking tax dollars from me. Shrink government, don't make it bigger. That always has to be the economic narrative. If you want to make government bigger, you are taking from me. Government does not make money. We make money, right? Government can only take money. So when you're advocating for more government solutions, you are literally advocating for the government to come into your check and take more money from you.
Lord, that makes sense. But how were people better under Trump, though? What are some things that you can point to?
Well, like I said, common sense. Everybody was living better under Trump, but just in terms of the environment for people that were entrepreneurial, definitively one of the first things he did was he started slashing regulations, slashing these barriers that prevent people who want to go into business from starting a business because they learned that there's all of these government agencies that are, you got to get this into place, you got to get this in place, you have to get, this license. That's government agencies that are actually standing between you and starting a company. And so on his very first day, he was just like cutting regulations left and right, saying, throw this one out, throw this one out, throw this one out, which freed up the markets. At the end of the day, what I am is I'm a free market capitalist. Free the markets, allow people to compete fairly, stop allowing the government to stop people or, de-incentivize them from creating new jobs. I'll give you an example. A cousin.
Before she gives the example, and they talk about this so-called free goddamn market, which, okay. What visions, for those guys that's listening or people listening in the chat room, for those that subscribe to the channel that can probably respond to this, what incentive a free market do you envision that you want in America? That's my question I want to ask y'all. I want an articulate answer to this. What do you envision as a free market? That's my question. I don't know if y'all guys can answer this in the chat room. What do you envision to be a free market in America? Do you want regulations, less regulations? Do you want grants to start your own business without any interest? Talk to me. That's what I want to know. Anyhow, as y'all think about it, let's keep going. Fair use.
Of mine wanted to start a food truck. Great, awesome. Would love for you to do that. And he looked into like how many certifications and barriers there were before he could actually start the food truck. That is the government growing powerful. Essentially, you have to have money or you have to know somebody to play the game for you to be able to start from nothing and make something of yourself. Economic mobility is really what it's about. So, I mean, that was one of the things that I loved the most about Trump is that he was very sensible. He has a very good business head. He understands the business environment. And every person should want to, should be aspiring not to work for a bunch of people that don't have your best interests, but to be able. I
agree with that, but so many of his businesses have failed, though.
Yeah, but even failing is a part of the things that I've tried to do have failed, right? And I don't ever let that be a barrier. Like, I think that there's always this psychological mindset of people that are fearful to fail. That's the best way for things to happen because you learn so much in failure. And people always want to point to and mock somebody for failing. Like, oh, she tried to do this and then she failed. Well, at least she tried. Yeah. Right? What are you doing?
And everybody has losses.
And you learn from them. You grow from those losses, and that's another, that's the thing that really bothers me too, is like that psychological conditioning of like, well, what's the point in trying because you might fail? It's like, no, you should try and you might fail. And then you'll learn. And the next time you try, you might make something of yourself.
We see that in the cannabis industry where it costs so much to even get in the industry, why you see not a lot of minorities in the cannabis industry. But I want to talk about the business that you tried to open that you couldn't get because there was so many regulations against you. I thought it would have been a great business. Now that's the one where you can actually find out the person trolling you or talking shit about you online, talking fake news, and you could actually find who they were. What happened?
No. So that was actually, this was crazy. So I actually never got to start the business that I wanted to do. It was this, I was creating this, I wanted to create an app called Social Autopsy, and I wanted to create it.
Before she continues, earlier I was looking at her background, guys. And like I said, they said that she came up with the word Brexit, but I don't see nothing of anything of significance came out of that creation Brexit. Everything else that you hear that she's responding right now to these questions, to me, I don't see it come to fruition. And not down that she tried to start some, but to my opinion, if you're trying to be your entrepreneurial route, you need money. Because if you're not getting no grants, and mind she married to a European aristocrat, you can have your alleged husband finance your dream. And to answer that question, even her husband don't look like he got it like that. Because if he had like that, she would never be working for the other wife. I'm gonna be honest with y'all. To me, when I find that these black women that date and marry out, I don't see nothing constructive in the union you get screwing a non-black mate. I don't see, from what they said, upper mobility. To me, and this is just me, guys. and I'm gonna be dead serious from this, saying this. The only thing I see a lot of black women that, let's say they do swirl out and they are in these relationships, and let's say it's go as far as get a marriage. What actual outcomes they getting besides sitting there, resting on the back and producing non-black babies? I'm going for it. Even what I'm seeing, these non-black mates making these women work. They don't got no goddamn soft life that they don't sit in their ass and don't do nothing. That is a pipe dream. That is a delusion. It's illusion. You're better off being with either with the black people in this community or be by yourself. I do not see nothing of any significance. Listen to me. I'm a Korean woman that will come back if they get far to this portion of the stream. What significance you get in the outcome with the fuck? That's my question I want to ask and the answer. This woman is married to a European man. I'm not sure what his wealth is because I can't Google him, which is a problem. And not saying that people should be easily found on Google, but let's say to know what he actually does will go a long way. And I'm thinking if he is doing very well and he is making more than 200 or even go as far as 500 more K a year, and he better be making that much money. Because last time I checked, if you work for the Daily Wire, Candace, your husband better make more money. And not only make more money, and not going further. You should not be working for the Daily Wire. You should be on your entrepreneurial dreams. You should be having business, one or two at least. Hell, these things should have been established 4 years ago, or it should be started to be slowly established. It should be going through its 4th year in survival mode in business. I don't see none of that. All I see, and a lot of people still don't know what she do behind background. I'm gonna tell you what she does. She does not do nothing behind background. Because most of the time you see her is on the internet, either on a tweet or working for Daily Wire, which makes her daily bread. I don't see nothing else personally that this woman said about entrepreneurship, that she is conducted and is existing and she has business that's entrepreneurial. I'm sorry. That bothers me. That if you got like that, what are you working for Daily Wire? Much less if you are working, your man that I'm not sure what he does economically. It's the same stuff you and him, but he should be able to fund your business, fund your dream. I don't see none of that. I do not see none of that. I'm sorry. I'm just keep real with y'all. I don't see none of this. And I have to be very vocal with this. I'm getting sick and tired of people talking about fucking entrepreneurship. If you're a black person, especially married, especially a black woman, what? My big question: why are you still working? I thought you said you want a soft life. You want to sit your ass, eat pom poms, and get fat, and raise children. Let me stop because I'm gonna. Man, let me chill. Let me keep going. Fair use, fair use.
It was actually really misguided, but it was because of what happened to me in high school. Like, I thought that it was really harsh that those kids, some of them were really young, ended up getting arrested because their names got publicized and, they got arrested for a hate crime. And it ended up ruining a lot of those kids' lives. Like, a lot of them had suicide attempts. I heard that one of them ended up changing their names. It's just a little too young for us to be smearing and libeling people. Kids are dumb. We all got the ability to be able to grow up and be stupid and say dumb stuff without social media, which is I think that was glory for us, because I can't imagine if things that I thought in the middle school were on Twitter and people could pull it up and be like, you're not allowed to have a life.
Speak for yourself. Men mature faster, slower than everybody else. That's true. It took me a while. Some of mine's still on the internet.
Yeah, but I think it's unfair, and I think that a lot of times we're all talking from this castle of oh, these kids are horrible people because he said whatever when he was 12 or 13. It's you don't have to live through what those kids are living through with social media. But I wanted to create this app that would help them, because rather than them having to get arrested for saying something, there could maybe be a school could make it a part of their academic record or something else. It was extremely misguided, but my heart was in the right place. But before I could even launch it, I put up a Kickstarter because I didn't have money to fund it. The Kickstarter got taken down because they said that this would be doxing. And it was actually a really wild situation. But yeah, it was just I was kickstarting a fund for it. But I'm glad it didn't take off, because now I realize why people think that it would have been really bad for free speech if that had happened.
Why?
Well, they think, now when you look at this environment and see how people are treated when they say one thing 10 years ago, could you imagine if there was a whole app that had that? It would have been used for evil. It really would have been used for evil.
Now, I want to go back to something you said earlier.
But it goes to show what I said earlier. Why are you creating Kickstarters to start these endeavors? Wasn't your husband supposed to be funding your dream, building this app? Now, regardless that the ramifications because of the political aspect of keeping people's information where they can go back a couple years from now and use as weapon towards them, which I don't really condone, much as I don't care, because let's be honest, you live in an age of social media. You live in an age of digital observation, digital watch eye. There's nothing that you will say or do that can be hide from the digital world now, even including internet. The only way you're going to avoid this is you need to be around off the grid completely. Anytime you need electronic device, you put your information, your data always at risk. It's better not to be in the environment than be in the environment itself. That's how it's supposed to work. I don't know about all this other extra stuff. Anyway, let's keep going. Various.
Because I know a lot of people will hear you say, well, Candace, you're speaking a lot about, the black family, but then you married a white man.
Yeah,
Dr. Umar would have a huge problem with that.
Yeah.
Are you familiar with Dr. Umar?
I have
here
heard
comes
of him. I have not listened to him, I'll be honest. What is his argument, actually, if you could just repurpose his argument
He
for me?
feels that,
Everything black.
No.
Yeah.
Yes, it is. Every damn
No,
thing.
he feels black men should be with black women because when you're talking about it from an economic standpoint, you want to grow the wealth as a black family.
But that doesn't...
And if you marry somebody from another race, then, your wealth will be with that person, and he doesn't like that.
Okay, I would love to talk to him more about that, because, it's always very interesting to me to hear this paradox of black people who will make an argument that, the system is racist, and then also make an argument like this, which is essentially making an argument for the Supreme Court to revisit Virginia versus Love and basically say that black Americans and white Americans shouldn't be marrying. I think the greatest thing ever is when people come together on the basis of who they love and get married. For me personally, I never thought of my husband as a race. It's just very interesting to me that see people go, she's married to a white man. When I look at my kids, I'm not like, oh, my kids are mixed. I married the person that it made the most sense for me to marry. I have a mind that is just, if you even knew half the things that I'm thinking about, the stuff that I'm reading, just go all the time. It's difficult for me to find. It was difficult for me to find a partner that was a challenge to me. The challenge that I needed, whether you want to say like an academic challenge, whatever it is, with my same interests. It just was. What you will know, a lot of times people think that when people come together, it's because of how they look. Actually, I read this in a Thomas Sowell book, or maybe it was a Shelby Steele book. People tend to marry their IQ, which is interesting. You think like if you see two black people together, oh, it's because they are two black people, but actually they are probably better matched based on their IQ. I fell in love with my husband just because I think he is one of the most brilliant people ever. I love him very much. The stuff that we talk about, I'm like, there is no other person that I could have married. We have 3 beautiful children who are growing up in an environment that I am just so happy that I was able to, what every parent wants, to give your children better than you had, and that's all I can say. I'm just the luckiest person in the entire world.
How was he going to feel about you not finding him attractive and just liking him for his mind?
What do you...
Well, now you see what she says there about the IQ thing, and what I'm hearing, and this is me. I'm hearing that Candace Owens did not finish 4-year university, a college, and I double check on Wikipedia what school she went to. I'll double check, but let's say if she did finish or not. My thing with this IQ thing, a lot of people must understand there's better ways to answer that question, but you see, she answered the way because that's how she wants black folks to take it. Now, what you do with it is up to you. Now, to me, I'm not sure what the man does financially, which is questionable. And no one does know, because if they do know, they would probably disclose that. They should be able to find it publicly. But let's go there. that she been swirling for a long time, guys. She might date a black man. Who knows? Maybe when she was like a child, maybe teenager, maybe. But after that, you don't see that because usually, with most typical women with her mindset or that swirls, they normally will pick non-black first, and if anything does go right with the non-black mates that will seek likeness to her, she will double back for a so-called black mate. That's how it normally goes with a lot of us or a lot of black people, especially with sisters now. I think it's been going on for maybe the last decade or so, maybe two, but usually the last decade, no doubt. Back in the early 2000s is a little bit different. You know, some women did swirl still, but it was not really much emphasis. But move forward in the 2010s, it was well known. And there was some statistical data on it, which I did cover on this channel. That did not surprise me because they know how the environment is. They know what things are situated, how things are going. And in their mind, it would make better sense even now that it said, let me see if a non-black mate will take me to give me the illusion of a so-called soft life. But that, you know, that if it don't work like, they come back to a certain black man or whatever, and they might make a life. That's how it normally goes now. And I'm looking at comments. She saved like man to the white cube. Okay. Okay, I think one person wrote that gold digger thinks she's slick. Trainer. Her husband claims to be what? Her husband is what? Mr. Freeman? Where you found that information? I need some verification for that, because if he is a bro, yo, oh hell no. Oh hell no, man. Mr. Freeman, nigga, you might, the ladies are calling. They saying this, bro.
Get him down. Get him down. Get him down.
Yeah, that's what they're saying. That's what they're saying. You're going to have to get him. Get her. Yeah, we're gonna get that. Anyway, let's keep going. Farious.
What? He got the smear already ready for the journalists that are listening. Candace says her husband is not. It was a bonus that I also think that he's beautiful and gorgeous and handsome, but it really was about his mind, his ability to just dive into any subject and comprehend it, just any subject. I mean, whether you're talking about mathematics, economics, politics, he could read a book on chemistry, read a book on building houses, and he just comprehends the concept very quickly. So I know I married the right person, and I want every person to never allow race to be a barrier to you finding love. That is so foolish. That will stop you. And by the way, there's this. There has been so much toxicity, particularly in Black relationships, because of the media portraying Black men as this or Black women as this. And we just have to stop doing that, Yeah.
Have you ever dated Black men before?
Yeah. I dated Black men, which is another thing that I always find really funny, because the media tries to portray me as someone who only liked white guys. Actually, if you want to be honest, I started off on a really strong Asian kick in my life.
Oh my gosh.
I thought I was going to marry an Asian man.
What's fine?
I did. My first boyfriend was Japanese. My second boyfriend was Korean. I just really...
I tell you, this woman is swirling it up. See, anytime when your first mate is non-Black, and not only the first but the second mate, 9/10 of the time, you're not going to be seeking for no... But no Black. Hold on, guys. Who you attract and who you date is what you really want. It's just obvious. We're not going more deeper than that, I'm sorry. We're not going deeper than that. What else can I say? What else can I say? But she'll tell you otherwise. But really, truly, by how she explains her life in the Breakfast Club and any other podcast, is really reflective of who you really attract. And you're not really dating no Black man. Let's stop it. They'll tell you she did, but no, man. As I said, I once Did it? How did it went? Well, we went and talked on a gathering. That's not a date, bitch. That's not a date. She's not dating no black man. Stop it, guys. I mean, the foolishness is all-time high. Let's keep going. Fairies.
Really loved Asian men. It was weird.
That's right.
Yeah.
Like, I
And
was
you was in Stanford,
discriminating.
Connecticut. There was an Asian population in Stanford,
Yeah.
Connecticut.
Well, I mean, there's Asian population everywhere.
I don't know. Was there a higher one in Stanford, Connecticut?
No, I think I just pursued Asian men. I don't know. I just
Yeah.
liked Asian guys.
Yeah.
Candace Owens fetishizes Asian men.
Oh my gosh. Stop painting the headlines so they can grab it. What is wrong with you?
What do you think is the biggest
Tell the truth.
misconception of Candace Owens?
I think the thing that I hate the most is the media always makes it seem like I'm so angry all the time. That stereotype is crazy. I have such a good sense of humor, and I always have so much fun. Genuinely, I'm having so much fun on my show, on my podcast. I think that the worst stereotype is they have me as somebody that's like angry and hardened because they're always pulling out just one excerpt of something that I've said, and I don't like that because I have just a great sense of humor. I laugh even when they get me good. Like if they do something and they say something that I'm like, actually, I hate this person, but that's kind of funny. Like I do look like that. I'll laugh. You know?
I saw that when Chappelle
Yeah.
said what he said.
Yeah, because I was just thinking, I'm like, listen, Dave Chappelle, I didn't even think he was actually that funny in that skit. Of all the Chappelle skits that, exist, I didn't think he was that funny. I think he was really angry throughout that skit. But also, it's Dave Chappelle. You know what I mean? It's Dave Chappelle, and he knows my name, and he knows who I am. And I think that you need comedians. It's a protected space, and even if they're making fun of people, as soon as we start killing the jokers, we're no longer living in a society that we want to be in. Trust me, when the kings start killing the jokers, it's not good. And I love Dave Chappelle. I grew up on Dave Chappelle. I was genuinely honored that he even knew my name. I was just like,
what
that's
did you
cool.
say?
It didn't make you feel no type of way. Called you the most articulate idiot he's ever seen.
Yeah, I mean, I didn't, like I said, I didn't think it was funny. I thought it was insulting, but I wanted to make a larger statement that we need the comedians. You know what I mean? And even though I particularly did not find it funny, I just thought it was important to just kind of rise above it, And yeah, it was a defensive. Yes, he definitely intended it for it to be offensive, but at the end of the day, I didn't really think it was an opportunity to be like, what was I going to say? Cancel Dave Chappelle? It's Dave Chappelle.
Yeah.
Now you accused T.I. of performing earlier, but you got a platform too.
Mm-hmm.
So do you find yourself performing at times?
I'm genuine. So there's never going to be a person that comes onto my show or a person that I've talked to that is going to be like, Candace then flipped up, when the cameras were on and started saying things that she didn't say to me privately. That's what I mean about a performance.
Mm-hmm.
Why did you do that? You and I had spoken on the phone multiple times. I know what you think. I know that you veer conservative. So what was that? Actually, what was that? No, for me, I actually say what I believe. I actually believe the things that I'm saying. And people just find that to be incredulous. How could a black person not be a Democrat? How could she not honor Lyndon Baines Johnson's dream to have, those N-words voting Democrat for the next 200 years? Because I learned my history properly after I left school, because now I see that the people that I thought were my saviors are actually avowed racists. And what they really wanted to do was just to recreate the slave plantation. And when I see people like T.I., it gets me angry. It does. People should be angry. People should now be questioning full stop, especially after the Diddy lawsuit, like what's real and what's not. Who's being blackmailed? Who maybe, is being controlled by certain people. I don't know. These are questions that I think people are ready to start asking, but I definitely have a huge question mark on T.I.
What
You
is
mentioned
this
Diddy lawsuit. I was about to say that you mentioned Diddy
what
lawsuit
are we
twice
missing
with T.I.
What's up with the Diddy lawsuit?
They talking about P. Diddy, and this was like during the time before we know what's going on with P. Diddy right now. Like really. And the problem is, no, I'm not getting to P. Diddy. Yeah, let's keep going. I'm not going to P. Diddy. Very fast.
What do you mean, what's up? You guys have definitely covered it, right?
Absolutely.
It's crazy.
Absolutely.
It suggests that he was the Jeffrey Epstein of Hollywood, that there's a blackmail ring, that people are being given drugs, they're doing things while they're drugged, and then those people are controlled, right? Because if you're a rapper and your brand is hardcore and I have a video of you kissing a guy and I'm like, I'll release it unless you say or do or take this position, that's a blackmail ring, right? So
T.I. wasn't in there, though.
no, he wasn't. I'm just
okay.
saying that the Diddy lawsuit kind of led me to ask some larger questions about, okay, because I have been feeling like in my heart that something weird's going on with black media. I'm like, what is this trash that we're trying to sell as good music. This isn't black culture. I hate that black people even call it black culture, because that's like, no, vultures came in and took black culture, turned it into something else. Like I said, I've said it many times. I grew up listening to Lauryn Hill. Stop trying to tell me this is black culture. Like, I grew up in my grandfather's house listening to The Temptations. Stop trying to sell to me that this is black culture. It's not. This is
black
rotten.
people aren't monolithic. I mean, you're like, even you're an example of that.
No, I'm not saying we're a monolith. I'm just saying that black people create magic when they want to, okay? There's no singer that is better than a black singer. If you want to go tit for tat, give me the best, white singer versus the best black singer. Like, we have unbelievable talent, right? So if you're going to tell me that what we are now making mainstream is the filth that I hear today, I'm going to start asking questions about who's condoning this, who's signing these people.
But music is an algorithm, right? And what they really do is they see what music is being hit on Shazam or what people are quote unquote liking, and that's what they play more.
It's getting artificial.
That's
it's starting
what
to
they,
get
quote,
artificial.
unquote, say.
No, and I think that's why, like, I do love Kanye, because I think he was pointing to this stuff really early. Like when he jumped on stage and grabbed a trophy from Taylor Swift, people were mad. I was mad. I remember being like, what on earth is he doing? But what was he actually telling you? That all of this it's a performance, right? Like this is not based on merit anymore. And by the way, he was factually right. The Taylor Swift video was like a girl dancing in a mirror, and Beyonce put out Single Ladies, one of the greatest music videos of all time, and they gave it to Taylor Swift. There's a narrative, there's a person that they're trying to make big whenever they make these decisions, also clarified by the Diddy lawsuit, because the person alleges, I'll say allegedly, that Diddy told him if he did this or that he would get producer of the year. Well, how could Diddy make that decision? How could Diddy offer that to somebody, full stop? This means that there's a different reason that people are getting awarded and are being platformed. And I have seen people that I just do not believe were made hot by black people that were suddenly being thrown in our face and being invited everywhere on red carpets, and suddenly they're next to Taylor Swift. It all just feels so artificial.
Who,
it doesn't
Candace?
feel
Who,
well.
Candace?
I'm giving an example. You guys talked on stage about Ice Spice. I mean, on the show about Ice Spice, you guys played my clip where I was talking about it. I don't have anything against Ice Spice. I'm sure she's a very nice girl. I really am sure. She's young. That's not a justification. What is she, 20? How old is she, 20?
I don't even know.
I think she's like 24, 25.
It's actually, she's not that young, right? Like Lauryn Hill she was like 18 when she was on Sister Act. But, the point is I don't fault her for making that music, but I am seeing this artificial promotion of Ice Spice. Like all of a sudden, of all the people, that's who Taylor Swift decided to put on her on the stage and take to, the Super Bowl.
As I see the picture, this is her husband again. And let's go further. Her husband that she's married to, the guy that runs and signs Ice Spice, falls in line to your husband, which he's a European, I think, aristocrat, they call it. But you see, Candace Owens does not really do the research who signs Ice Spice. See, my issue with a lot of these people, especially they call themselves conservatives and they call themselves enlightened, they're smart and all that. Have you gone to the source who signs to produce music that you hate? Or you're talking about the artist instead of going to the source? Or I can't go to the source because now I got to point fingers at the man I'm sleeping in beds with. See how that works? It's logic. It's like a light bulb pop. Yeah. Like literally, seriously. But like I say, you can't tell people nothing nowadays because they're stupid. Let's keep going. Very serious.
I have questions, I just have questions. And I do think that Kanye was trying to say something, in that moment when he took the trophy from her.
But when you listen to Lauryn Hill, there were other music there that wasn't like Lauryn Hill music.
There was Little Kim.
It was the minority.
There was Trina.
I think Lauren's a little before the Trina. But what I will say, it was a minority of the music, and now it's the majority. And I would be okay with music like that if the majority of black music was based on what we can actually create and our talent. Because like I said, we have a ton of talent. I tend to think that when we get involved in certain things, we just do it better. I think creatively, black people are very gifted. And where somebody is making our gift a curse, right? It's music that's encouraging black men to commit crimes. It's like a hip hop to prison pipeline. And I just, I really question it.
How do you feel when Meek Mill says he listens to you all the time? Because I've just thought about that when you was talking about the music that they make. He actually listens to you all the time. Did you see that tweet?
I did see that, and I reached out to him, and we had a private discussion very quickly. But it was so interesting because just based on that tweet, how quickly they tried to make sure that me and Meek Mill wouldn't talk. Right? Media instantly. This is what Candace has said in the past about, Meek Mill being arrested. Just, again, constantly trying to fracture Black relationships. And that has always been the name of the game, from politics to the media. They are interested in the business of fracturing Black relationships if it's a relationship that I think they believe could advance Black America. So I'm just like, when is there going to be that moment that Black America is really just going to fully awaken, and have our moment, like have our enlightenment in this country, because we've never been allowed to have it. Yeah, and I think that there are people that genuinely,
she keeps talking about these so-called Black relationships, right? You're not in no Black relationship, baby. This is not your concern. I know you're now making rounds to these so-called Negro podcasts to make yourself well known and build your catalog up and build your eyeballs up, but really, Black relationships are not the least of your concern. You're in an interracial relationship. And it goes to show that this is the dilemma and delusion that a lot of Black folks face when we deal with people that's already dating out the community. They think they have the authority now to talk about what is Black love and all this nonsense, and you don't pick a Black mate. So that tells you don't like yourself, personally. I don't know, man. That's crazy, man. This is my opinion. All right, let's keep going. Farious.
hate Black Americans. And I think sometimes people pretend to be the friends of Black Americans, and they're just not. They're not our friends.
You call Fannie Willis a ghetto superstar.
Yeah, Maya's song was great.
Why is Fannie Willis a ghetto superstar?
Come on, did you watch that freaking ridiculous court? Did you watch that court? It was wild. It was just like, this just gave me the Maya song. Like, I thought she was fabulous. I was like, this is so entertaining. Like I said on my show, they should put her on Love and Hip Hop. I was entertained. I was entertained by Fannie Willis, but she has no business being a district attorney. And maybe we should listen to all the Black men in Fulton County who have been saying, they all lined up in the streets and were like, Trump, 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 Trump. And when they interviewed them, the Black guys were saying, because we've been saying forever in Fulton County that these charges are all trumped up and ridiculous. And now for the first time, people are going to pay attention to it because it hit the president. And they were right, obviously. I was only watching this court case because it had to do with Trump. And it was crazy. Like, somebody that corrupt should never be in a position of power.
Yeah.
But she is a superstar.
I wonder if she should step down because it is a distraction. You know what I mean? Like, people should be focused on the fact that Donald Trump, attempted to overturn the results of an election in Georgia. Like, that's what the trial should be about. But as long as Fannie Willis is on the case, I think they'll constantly make it about that. Yeah. And by the way, let's just say he's on trial for that. So he's innocent until proven guilty. Right. But you can't even really have the conversation about that because everybody will be so focused on Fannie. Yeah, and the thing is now they believe that what she did was just corrupt, full stop, right? That she's not a person that is clean here. She's obviously corruptible. She's been having this relationship, taking taxpayer dollars, allegedly taking taxpayer dollars based on the testimony and using it to fund her and her boyfriend's lifestyle. They did find out that they said that wasn't true. The money part.
They said it on the stand. So that's why they're saying that, like, this lawsuit will lead to more lawsuits. I mean, this trial will lead to more trials, rather, because she said it on the stand. I pulled a clip of her saying that she takes out cash, and some of the cash is from when she was campaigning. I mean, she implicated herself in some other severe crimes while she was on the stand.
And that's why I think it's going to constantly be a distraction. That's why.
No. It's much deeper than that. Family is going to be on the case, stay on the case, because they're using this to try to slow down your former president, Donald A. Trump. That's the end of the story. They try to use this, the Trump charge, to get her off the case so they could throw away this case about the was it embezzlement or something to do with voter fraud, or whatever you want to call it. Y'all must understand and know this. The reason why the so-called Judge McAfee, that is a young judge that did fund Fannie in her pursuing of the district attorney, if I remember right, is because if he decides to throw and take her off the case, no other authorities from a district is going to touch this thing with Trump. So right now, she is the last frontier of opposing Donald Trump so that he does not become president in 2024. And how we know? Think about this. Why do you think they had a conversation before he made his ruling on who needs to stay, who needs to go. She told Fami was told by Mick. All right, let me roll it back. There was a choice he had to make. Either Nathan stays or she has to go, or Nathan goes, she stays. That was the conclusion of that whole case. They can't keep both of them on the stand or keep them on the case. And like always, Nathan decided to pull himself off. That's how it works. We're not going to divulge in this, but let's keep going. Furious.
I think she should just.
And there's like maybe another 15 minutes of this, and I'm going to end this. All right.
Step away from the case altogether.
I agree, but they are saying she's not going to, so it's just going to be more of a show.
Now, you said you don't perform, but you said you would you would put your entire professional reputation on the line. That First Lady Bridget Macron is in fact a man.
Candace?
How do you prove that?
I am so happy that you asked me this question, because to me, this is the wildest thing that I've ever looked into. No, this is crazy. This is absolutely crazy. You absolutely must go watch my episodes on this, because I'm telling you, I'm not the person that back when they were saying Michelle Obama was a dude, whatever, where is Obama from? I'm not a person that's just going to jump on that and say things that are ridiculous. This was so crazy that I figured this was going to be so easy to debunk. Like, I looked into this and I'm like, what is this case that's happening in France? The French people are all oppressed, saying that they're being, everybody's lying. I looked into it, blew my mind. Absolutely blew my mind. First off, let me ask you a question. If I say right now, I'm like, you were born a man. You lived for the first 30 years of your life as a man. What is the first thing you would do?
I would want to fight you.
What? And then after that, let's say you're the president of France. After that,
if you
if I'm like 100%, she lived as a man, like she didn't exist until she was 30. What would you do?
I would be upset. I mean, I would be angry. I would be upset.
Yeah.
What do you want her to do? Show you her
you want
genitals?
to show you
Candace?
No, I'm just saying.
Vagina?
No,
I don't know.
It's the easiest thing to debunk. You just like a classmate, a yearbook.
Oh, so your birth certificate? Oh, yeah.
Not even a birth certificate. I mean, like
I would just ignore
Oh
it.
yeah, well,
No
after
way,
I'm,
no way.
even know
if I'm the
energy.
president, like she
Come
said,
on.
if I'm the president, yeah, I'm providing some type of
Why?
credential. Like, nah,
30 years
like, what
of
do you
your
mean?
life, okay? 30 years of your life. Instead,
Yeah, I'm proving
what
it.
this president and his wife did was first sent the police to try to intimidate the journalists as they were working on this case. They worked on this case for 3 years. These were journalists. It wasn't some like random Reddit conspiracy theory. And that Brigitte Macron was a transsexual. And they sent the police, took their phones, wanted to know who else was working on the story. You don't do that. It's so easy. I would literally just be like, here's a photo of every year of my life. I would expect classmates to be like, I went to school with her, high school with her, graduated with
Right.
her. Here she is. Nothing. Just intimidating the journalists. Journalists drop the stories anyway. Then the Brigitte Macron sues them for invasion of privacy. You guys are doing way too much. Produce one photo. You allege that you had 3 kids and 30 years of living. To the contrary, tons of photos of Jean-Michel, who she alleges is her brother. Oh, okay, where's your brother then? Go for a walk with your brother. Debunk the rumors. Just go walk 10 feet with Jean-Michel. No, because you are Jean-Michel Trogneau. The journalists were absolutely right. They did an incredible job of a long series, faits et documents. I had to like download it and put in English, and I was like, this is wild. I mean, they have photos of Jean-Michel Trogneau. You just look like twins. It's obviously Brigitte,
So where's the brother then?
Exactly. Now
Damn.
you're asking the right
So
questions.
Kate Middleton hiding out together?
It'd be
What the
4
heck is going
seconds.
on?
Don't add that to my
This has
story.
been going on for years in France. I covered this. The French people were going crazy. They were like, thank you so much. We were being gaslit by the media. It takes 5 seconds to walk with your brother. That's just what I would do. I would walk up with my brother, and then I would give a speech, press conference. I'd be like, and this is the danger of conspiracy theories. This is my brother. It is ridiculous. This is being pushed by far right. Nothing. They've just been trying to silence people, intimidation and tactics. They even tried to sell to the press a fake photo, which got debunked. It was actually Jean-Michel's daughter saying that this was Jean-Michel. They turned it into black and white and tried to pretend that was a photo. You're now sharing fake photos, trying to get away with this. I'm telling you guys, look into the case. It is wild. Jean-Michel
How they do over there with
Trogneau
the fake
is now Brigitte
photos.
Macron, transitioned at the age of 30. By the way, alone, that whole story.
As much as I want to keep this up, it's getting a little boring, but I'm trying to have the testament to stay at it. Matter of fact, how much more time in this? I might drop the link, see if you might want to come up. I doubt you want to come up. I shouldn't drop the link. No one didn't really contribute to the channel today, but I'll do it for this one time only. Let's keep going. Various.
of Emmanuel Macron was like 30 years older.
Mm-hmm.
That already we're in pedophile territory. So everything about that story has been sick from the beginning.
Well, the age in France, I agree with you on that. But the age in France, I think the legal age is 15, if I'm not mistaken.
Well, in different interviews, they said 14. He was 13. It's something not right there in that entire situation. And yeah, I'm telling you, look into it. It's a wild story.
Now, why do you believe that Hollywood was created by the CIA?
Well, before we say Hollywood was created by the CIA, I guess I should clarify because, first off, you guys do know that the Pentagon has a budget for film. Like there's a whole department in the
Did not know that.
That's a fact. There you go. That's all you need to know. There's an entire department in the Pentagon. They get involved with films, and they get involved with films for the purpose of propaganda. They always have.
What movies have
I
they
should have
produced?
said Pentagon instead of CIA. Tons of them. I should show you the list. You should pull it up. It's
Google it right now.
wild. Yeah,
Absolutely,
Pentagon
please.
Department for Hollywood. Tons of them.
I have to
Even
report this.
Transformers. Even Transformers, because they're concerned about certain narratives. They get involved with like World War films, like how are we telling a story about history? Usually it's because we're lying about what we did or trying not to make Americans aware of the crimes against humanity that we
Wow.
commit overseas,
Yeah, the Pentagon has funded some films: Black Hawk Down, Red Dawn, GoldenEye.
Let me see what's it. When did she run back to the black community though? Oh, she ran back to black community when she got fired by the Daily Wire. And that's been like for almost a week now, maybe 2 weeks now. She got fired. That's my only answer to give you. Let's keep going. Fairies.
The more you know. So now you understand your experience in theaters is what your government wants you to think. They want you to think that this is how things happen, and it's usually not at all how things have actually happened.
6 of the best movies made with help from the Department of Defense. This is military.
Yeah. I shouldn't have said CIA. I should have just said the government. But
Top Gun,
yeah,
Red Dawn, Apollo 13.
it's all about
Iron
just.
Man?
Iron Man. Oh my
I
God.
didn't know that was on the list.
Now he upset.
Wow.
Now he upset. Let me ask,
Interesting.
now you
but,
said
but talking about continue.
What? Iron Man? Nah, that's her limit right there. She was like, you know what? Now it's crazy.
What is the point of that? Just control?
Yeah, propaganda. It's crazy. You grow up in school and you think propaganda belongs to the East or something. Propaganda is the name of the game of our government. They, again, never want you to look into the crimes that they are committing. So they're constantly trying to sell themselves as the good guys. They did the most. They rescued and saved the world. They've never done anything bad overseas. If you are living and you believe that the American government hasn't committed crimes against humanity, you had to wake up from the propaganda. You just got it. You got to learn real history, not what was taught to you in a textbook. That's all just propaganda. We've done horrific things. Things.
you mentioned Kanye put you on the phone with T.I. and some other people. What's your relationship with Kanye? Because I know one time y'all were going to do a business with each other, and then that just fizzled out.
Yeah, I was under so much pressure. It was actually insane to say horrific things about Kanye when all that stuff started going down. Was it 2 years ago now? And the truth is my relationship with Kanye began long before I ever even met Kanye. I really do credit the creation of like my spirit and my character with listening to his music and having the courage to step out of the bounds of what people say that you are allowed to be. And like his song Power, I played that so many times when I got into politics, just realizing that I was going to take a lot of bullets. People were going to say a lot of things about me, but really the power is within me to just not care. And that is why I think that a lot of people don't understand like what Kanye means, I think, to the black community. And that's why the media couldn't take him down, because the media didn't create Kanye. That's the truth. They didn't create him. And so I will forever defend what Kanye has meant to so many people who grew up on his music and listen to his music, like just knowing that you have it within yourself and you have the power within yourself to be something. He's obviously still creating music, still loved very much. Do I agree with everything that Kanye does? No. I don't even think Kanye agrees with all the stuff that Kanye does.
He performs a lot.
Yeah.
He
yeah.
performs a lot. He
Of
throws you
course.
under the bus when he needs to, though. Like,
Me?
Yeah, it
What do you
feels
say
like
about
that.
me?
It just feels like he's quick to distance himself from you at certain points.
I think that a lot of the way what do you mean by that, I guess?
I think about one moment in particular when everybody got mad at him. I don't know if it was you, it was something you designed. It was the Blexit shirts or
Yeah.
something, and you said he designed them, and he was like, "No, I didn't."
Yeah, so I think that actually time has been good with that situation because I couldn't say a lot and people thought that I was like lying. Like Candace lied. First off, I never said that Kanye designed the t-shirts ever. I said that he designed the logo, and Kanye did design the logo.
Oh,
He had helped us, I have photos of it. But at that time,
So it looks to me that she is very much a Kanye fanatic, a real fan, which I did not know. Learn something new every day. Even to the point that Kanye was the one that helped structure or give image to the logo we call Blexic. Interesting. Very interesting. But you know, everybody likes Kanye because you know Kanye is a good artist. You know, that's what I think. In my opinion, everybody loves Kanye personally. So I don't think no one has nothing against Kanye. Anyway, let's keep going. It's almost done, guys. Only a few more minutes. Various ways.
Kanye was going through a lot personally. And I just didn't think, I just decided that I was just going to be the bigger person. I could have clarified it in the media, but I just allowed everyone to call me a liar because, like I said, I'm like a fiercely loyal person. And because I knew of a lot of stuff that was going on personally with him, I just didn't want to add to the avalanche, you know, of people criticizing him. But again, I never had said that Kanye designed the T-shirts, but he did help us with the logo.
And why troll people? Like when y'all wore the White Lives Matter shirts.
No, because white lives do matter. And the point wasn't to troll people. It was actually to make a statement, you know, and that's that. First off, Kanye was behind that, but he's an artist. And there's a point that he's always making it. You don't think he did this to troll. Like, it just, that seems very beneath him. I'm just doing this to troll.
I don't know. Dame Dash is this guy, and Dame Dash even said that's what he does. He trolls. But it's obvious he trolls.
I didn't consider that as trolling. I definitely don't think that he would have put trolling as a part of his fashion show. He takes his fashion pretty seriously, you know.
Because he's the type of person that will say one thing in private and then publicly do a whole about face on it.
Has he done that with you?
Oh, yeah.
Really?
A bunch of times.
On what topic? Because I've never, like, on stuff that he says that he believes, I've never seen him flip on a topic. Like,
no, I've seen him flip quite often.
On his positions?
Yes, absolutely.
That's interesting.
Absolutely.
Well, I can't tell you it didn't happen. I mean, but regarding the White Lives Matter shirts, you know, BLM, I said from the very beginning, was going to be bad. That's another one that people are saying like, oh, Candace did say this. I'm like, yeah, I did, man, because obviously it was going to be another money laundering situation. Crazy $90 million raised in no time, in a couple of months, and all that money went to trans organizations. Wild. Absolutely crazy. Establishing the first trans neighborhood in San Francisco. Crazy. But it was obvious. It was obvious because...
Before she continues with her babble, I'd like to say this. Obviously, Candace is going to say white lives do matter because she has half-breed children. Predominantly, her children is part white. I mean, it's in the best interest. I hope y'all people are aware of this. Yeah. I hope so. I hope you guys are aware of that. You know that, right? She does got, you know. So, you know. Anyway, let's keep. What was this? That's like tree. All right, let's keep going. Let's keep going. I'm trying to find some. Hold on. I'm trying to find some, guys. All right, let's keep going. Fair use.
Because wherever there is tons of black emotion, there is a money laundering operation that's about to get off the ground. And whenever there is like worldwide media support, why do black Americans think the media support them? As soon as you got tricked by thinking that the media was on your side, it should have been a wake up call. It went way too global, way too fast. Corporations suddenly, yes, we believe in this. And I knew that the end result was going to be that black American communities were going to be looted and rioted to the ground, you know, and that they were training black Americans psychologically to believe that this was it. This was going to be what, you know, the advancement. This is going to be good for your cause. Get behind this organization that's ultimately going to hurt you and set you back, which is what happened. Businesses moved out of black communities because why would you continue running a business if you're getting robbed and stolen from every 5 minutes? And now those communities are poorer. And now you have Rashida Tlaib saying, oh, Walgreens is racist because they are leaving, you know, inner city communities. What would you like Walgreens to do? This is a for-profit business. So it incentivized bad behavior in the black community, made businesses move out, and money laundered to a bunch of LGBTQIA, however many letters it's gotten to, organizations, which I also think is not good for the black community.
Have you had any conversations with anybody from BLM? Like, have they ever challenged you on?
Well, you know, I went to Patrice's house
Oh, I remember that. Yeah, yeah.
I was very pregnant. She lied, caught her in real time lying. Right? I was very polite when I rang the doorbell. I went to one of her houses. She's got a lot of houses. Thanks, BLM. But yeah, I had on Hawk Newsom, who was the New York chairman for BLM. Had him on my show several times, actually. I had him on 3 times, I believe, and debated him and his ideas during that. I'm not a person that is scared to debate anybody on any topic because it's what I actually believe. I think people that run away from debates are the liars, right? Like if you're going to sit and talk about somebody and say they think, sit down and have a debate about it, about a topic. BLM, I caught all the heat, but fortunately that's $100 million just burned and gone. And there to support trans issues if that's what Black America agrees with.
I agree with that even when it comes to people that you may disagree with. Like, people may disagree with Candace Owens. They may disagree with, Fox News. If I'm these elected officials or these people that are being spoken about, I'm going to go on y'all platforms and talk to y'all because y'all have huge platforms.
Right.
So why continue to let somebody say some things that you say aren't true or say some things that you disagree with and let those things go unchallenged? Go have the conversation with them.
Right, exactly. And so I think that's part of it is that we've been so boxed in and you're only hearing liberal ideas and liberal concepts. And by the way, I do want to say half the narratives, when I say it like I suddenly realized I was always a conservative, I think that actually would happen if Black Americans actually paid attention to conservative arguments because I don't take the Black community as woke liberal. It's just not that. I think something like, especially on the LGBTQ stuff, like is this what Black Americans care about? Like bathroom signs?
Well, Black people in America, to be personally honest, and this is just me, I think they take an interest to people that are part of that weirdo community because they have people in their family or maybe close friends, depending if you're a woman, you more gravitate to the LGBTQ more than a man, personally, in my opinion, but that's me. They take a liking because they are, good companionships to particularly predominantly women, Black women generally. Because if you look at any man that is, I guess, straight or heterosexual, he's not really in the fashion business to really saying that I have a weirdo friend that's a part of that community on the norm, on the average person. So the people that still holding that type of community and still praising and taking liking, you gotta look at the gender, who pushes it more, who has friends the most. That would answer your question, Candace Owens. But you're not gonna do that because you think when we talk about Black community, talking about Black man, Black woman, accept this. No, there's only a certain gender within the community accepts that. Keep that in mind. All right, fair use, fair use. And it's almost done. We're gonna wrap this up.
And wanting kids to pick their gender, I would definitely say no. So it's just being forced. Yeah. This narrative is being forced. And I cannot stand, nothing makes me angrier than seeing the intentional feminization of Black men. Drives me insane.
Expound.
Kid Cudi wearing a dress, like suddenly, and there is actually an old interview that I believe Dave Chappelle gave to Oprah where he talks about that in Hollywood, there's always this like pressure for them to try to get Black men to wear dresses, and he like said no to this, and people kept trying to get him to wear a dress. They're like, wouldn't it be so funny in one of your skits if you wore it? And he was like, no, what is this? Like, why are you trying to get me to wear a dress? That is weird to me. It's super toxic, and for some reason when I see that, like the hyper feminization of Black men, it does something to me spiritually. Like it makes me want to snap.
Mm. Well, I guess I'm not saying you're wrong, but there's plenty of people that be like, well, why are you not with a Black man then, Candace?
That's something.
All right, guys. The call line is open. Come up, give your take now. You could, voice your opinion now. I put the call link in the chat room. All right, let's wrap this up. On the audio side, fair use.
I'm of a Black man. Like my granddaddy, my dad. I'm of a Black man. It's not gonna like. Why do you feel impacted by it? Because I am seeing that intentional attack on Black men, and they're.
Oh my God, man.
God damn it! You can't make this shit up! God damn it! You can't make this shit up! God damn it! You can't make this shit up!
They're trying to condition.
Now, when a Black man says, I got a sister, a mother, an auntie, They don't want to hear that. But when we talk about, you know, not a relationship, no, you're not married to a black man. You hear the black woman say, "Well, I got a father, a brother, a uncle." What in the fuck is this, man? I swear to God, the delusion is real, my nigga. I don't know what to say. I just don't know what to say. I mean, you can't beat that. You know, you just can't beat that. Really, I mean, like literally, really. All right, let me wrap this up because I'm yeah, fair use.
Black men do aspire to that. When you put that on a red carpet and like, oh, look, fame and men wear dresses. What is that? Stop selling that to the black community. I don't like that at all.
I love the way that you and Ben Shapiro are able to disagree, but then I guess still have a business relationship. Because I saw him recently tell you, well, I think it was maybe a few months ago. He told you to quit over your Israel coverage, your Palestine Israel coverage.
Yeah.
What was that about?
Well, he told me. Well, the tweet that he responded to was actually just some biblical passages, and he thought that it was me saying that I had to choose money over the. I don't know how we interpret it, but it was definitely not. I just meant it as like, you know, peace, calling for peace, because, you know, there was a video circulating of him calling me a disgrace and a faux professional or whatever it was. And I decided to choose peace, and then when I chose peace, he responded to the peace with not peace.
So why wouldn't he just fire you?
Well, as I explained on Tucker Carlson's show, like, Ben doesn't have the power to fire me. And it's not even saying that we disagree on Israel and Palestine. I just think that he's obviously, his wife is Israeli. He spends a lot of time in Israel throughout the year. I think when you have an emotional attachment to some place, that sometimes your reaction to anything is going to be more extreme to it. You know, I have some relatives that are from St. Thomas. If what was happening in that region was happening in St. Thomas, I would probably be the most fired up out of everybody at the Daily Wire. And yeah, he definitely went through, I think, an emotional time at the end of last year, you know, dealing with everything. I think I was pretty even keel. I don't want to see innocent Palestinians killed. I don't want to see innocent Israelis killed. I never want to see children killed. I don't believe children should have to grow up in a war zone based on the actions of a few. And that, I guess, last year sounded crazy. It sounded crazy because always the demand in all these situations is to make people pick a side. And then if you don't pick their side, then you get smeared and you get libeled, right? So if you don't say, I want every Palestinian murdered, then suddenly you're pro-Hamas. If you don't say, like, I want every Israeli person eradicated, you know, then suddenly you're pro-apartheid, whatever the arguments are. And I think both of that is extreme.
You said no government.
Now, what she said there was bullshit, and let me tell you why. It's not because his wife is Israeli that he's defending. And this is my thing, that I could tell that, you know, Candace, like most of these so-called false conservative Negroes, and she a bad wench, that what tribe does Dave Shapiro fall under? His wife is Israeli. We know that, but what tribe is he? He's a Jewish man. So he is actually married within his tribe. He is actually a true conservative. You, on the other hand, Miss Candace, you're not conservative. You marry, date out. There's nothing conservative when you're a black person and you're dealing with someone that's not part of your race. I mean, really. This is some idiocracy now. I understand there's some points that people watch that they could make that she said was relevant, but overall, if you pay attention to the whole interview, person is hogwash. I'm not sure if this is what she's trying to sell to black people in the community so she could build her brand up. In my opinion, I don't see it. And the link is in the chat room now. If y'all want to call us, come on now, a few more minutes. And please support the channel, Super Chat or Cash App. My thing is this. Sweetie, whatever you're trying to do, you might get some Negroes that's dumb, deaf, dumb, blind to follow you, but you're not getting all black folks, especially getting the majority population of black men. They already see through you what you're doing. You talk about you want the best interest of black men, but you talk bad and down on black men on some of these videos you do on the Daily Wire. And I want to pose a challenge to a lot of black men that don't follow Candace Owens. Do a video or a live stream, break down every video if you could find of her talking bad about black men. That will be the next thing a man should, any black content creator does, or content creator generally do right now. Because you got to start destroying this myth to re-educate people that are not familiar with Candace Owens of what she really has been doing. In my opinion. In my opinion. All right. So let's wrap this up. Fair use, fair use.
Government anywhere has a right to commit a genocide, ever. There is no justification for genocide.
Yeah. That is going to age so well. Genocide is always wrong. It is, guys. It is always wrong. And doesn't matter at any point in human history, any person that is advocating for genocide is always in the wrong. And when I wrote that tweet, I was referring to Brian Mast, who's a congressman. He got up and he literally said in Congress that there's no such thing as an innocent Palestinian. And I was like, that is genocidal. Right. As soon as you say an entire group of people are all evil, you are now laying the groundwork to justify a genocide. And that to me was wild. So I spoke up against it.
Have you been blackballed from Fox News?
No, I just stopped going on Fox. I used to, my schedule is very busy, but I used to go only once a week on the Tucker Carlson show. And then Tucker left Fox News. So I just didn't go on Fox News.
Gotcha.
Yeah.
You seem to be excited that Black America is embracing you. As you said, I saw you say that. Why is that?
I'm just glad that they're hearing me for the first time. Forget embracing. I just wanted them to actually hear me. There was just so much, so many things said about me that just were not true. And no matter what, every time an article was written, they would just rehash the things that I never said. I mean, even the Joe Budden interview that was recently dropped and everyone's talking about it, go read Hot New Hip Hop's article on it. It's wild. It's just not what was said at all in that interview. It's just patching together things to make me seem like I'm a monster. Like Candace blames the education system for like Ice Spice's music. That's literally what they said. They ran with that. And so I'm just excited that they're at least hearing me. That's the biggest thing. Actually being able to decide, okay, I heard Candace and here's what I think about her. Rather than I heard what somebody else heard and what they say that I should have heard and here's what I think about her.
Yeah, because most of the hate is like domino. Like you'll see, like over the years, I've seen like people in comments, it'll be headlines about you and somebody don't like you because somebody else don't like you, and then because of what somebody else said, and then she ain't never for us, or it's always what somebody is waiting to, like in the comments. Charlamagne always say people wait in the comments, go in the comments to
see how they want to feel.
See how people want to feel.
Right.
You go through comments first so they can tell you how to feel.
Right.
You never did research on her. You've never sat and talked to her. Obviously, you don't watch her show. You just grab what the headlines grab and you read the comments and they tell you not to like her.
Right. And a part of that, by the way, has a lot to do with illiteracy, which is something that I talk about all the time because the illiteracy rate in inner cities right now is over 70%. We're talking about over 70% of Black boys that can't pass a basic reading exam. That is crazy. That is crazy. Across the United States entirely, 40%. We're at 40%. Yeah. So people think that they're going to public schools to get an education. It's the exact opposite. They are slowly making sure that you're never going to be able to have a proper education, and they're going to tell you what to think. That's what they want. They want the ability of a headline. And that's very scary. I talk about what they did on slave plantations, why we weren't allowed to learn how to read because they knew that if they could control the narrative, then you could be enslaved forever, right? Your mind becomes enslaved when you can't read, when you say, okay, I learned that in a textbook, but let me read this, and actually see what I think. And I think that's intentional. I literally...
No, it's not intentional. It's by design. See, the only person that were able to read, and Candace should have really been more clear on the history part, was women, Black women. And the reason why, because they got to nurture and teach while feeding, nursing, and suckling of the non-Black babies onto their chests. And they made a way where they had to learn to read for the sake of teaching their children. The only thing that was against is teaching and reading to males, Black males especially. But remember, all the coded language, all the writing documents, all that stuff to write yourself out of a paperwork, that's all done by literature. Well, if you can't read, you won't know how to do that. So they keep you dumb, the male, on purpose to keep you out of competition in general. So even now, and we talking about over a century ago, up until the end of the 60s, going 70s, that's when they really start watered down and dumbing a lot of kids, particularly in urban cities, black children, especially black males, dumb down more so they don't have the capability to read because they're not teach them properly. That's the whole premise of this so-called de-educational system for the last going almost 49 years. So keep that in mind. Anyhow, let's end this. Fair use.
Believe that there is an evil intent to re-enslave Black Americans, and the ability for us not to read, to me, is everybody should be hitting the alarm on that. Like, why aren't Black boys learning how to read and yet being encouraged to make music, to follow hip hop, to do this, to do that, follow sports? Our culture is very much like go into music or go into sports. We need Black scholars. We need Black people that are actually aware of what has actually happened to Black America, what the true story is outside of what these textbooks are trying to sell.
I agree.
It's very scary to me, the illiteracy rate in Black America.
No, I agree with that because a lot of times when Black people see other Black people that are successful, they're in music and athletics, so that's what people gravitate towards.
Right, which guarantees them. That's why they turn these people into such idols. It guarantees more Black failure, right? Because here's the truth. What is the actual percentage chance that you have of becoming the next LeBron James? 0%. Let me just tell you, 0% that you're going to be the next. But every Black kid, because of the way he's hailed as a hero, and they put this, is going to try to be the next LeBron James. They're going to think that they have it, right? So they're going to put their academics second and prioritize, my baby's going to be the next LeBron. Okay.
No, and you know whose fault that is? Hold on. You know whose fault that really is? That's by the goddamn parents, especially the mother. Because why the hell is your son, and you push your son, especially, to do more of the physical activities instead of improving his mind? I'll tell you why. Because they're hoping and they're praying that he'll be one of those 1% by going the sports route. And to me, I call bullshit. It's going to come to a point, if you're a man of any significance and you have children with this woman, you have some decision to make. And one of the decisions you have to make is you're going to have to start snatch your children away from these women. If you're not in no marriage with a woman, you're going to have to make it a way where at a point your son should be under your wing until they're adults. Personally, all these games that I'm seeing play, that ends today. There's no way your son could be good at something, maybe dribbling basketball or football or tackling, and they could barely read on level. That's unacceptable, in my opinion. Very unacceptable. But shit, I just don't like that. Fair use.
Okay, but he probably isn't going to be. What is your chance as a Black American of becoming a doctor if you stay in school and pass all the tests? 100%. Right?
We need Black doctors too.
What is Candace Owens' definition of Black excellence?
That's a very good question. I think Black excellence would just be excellence, period. Because I always try to say the reason why we should remove ourselves from saying white excellence, Black excellence, is because I've realized that there's been a power in people trying to segregate our minds in that way. Excellence to me, I think, is independence. I think it starts with independence of thought, right? Actually challenging yourself and challenging your beliefs and constantly re-examining them, not thinking that you have it figured out. But I think that once we achieve higher education levels, and I'm talking about Black people in mathematics, Black literacy rate jumping to what it should be, which should be 100% if we're being honest, if you're sending somebody through the public education system, then we will start to see necessarily Black people achieving more in our society. So I just personally think that we should be focusing on the Black literacy rates, full stop, and also creating our own companies, you know what I mean? And not having our voices controlled.
We have a few questions for you, just a few, just to.
Where are the questions coming from?
These are Black quiz questions.
Where's the Black quiz at?
We have our own questions.
Oh, cool.
We came with our own questions.
Oh, okay.
She's like, where are these questions coming from, sir?
So
I'm like, are we on Twitter? Where are we at?
So where did MLK deliver his famous "I Have a Dream" speech?
Oh, in Washington, D.C.
Yes. Ding, 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 ding.
Yes.
Okay, and how many fights did Will Smith get into before his mom got scared?
Oh, good question.
Candace, come on.
Hold on.
she gonna sing
In
it.
West Philadelphia, born and raised on the playground is where I spend most of my days.
Okay.
Chilling out, maxing, relaxing, all cool and all shooting
Shooting
some
some
b-ball outside of the school. When a couple of guys, they were up to no good. Started making trouble in my neighborhood. I got in one little fight.
Y'all didn't think she knew that one. Y'all didn't think she knew that one.
It was
Got
just
that.
one.
Y'all didn't think she knew
It
that
was
one.
when it was a little one. Yeah.
It was no, you can't sing the whole song and be like, it was a little one.
It was a little one.
But that's how you would do it if you was in
It was
school.
a little,
I
it was a little
guess.
scuffle.
Right.
His mom got scared.
Yeah.
Yeah.
there you
His
go.
mom was overreacting.
Yeah.
His mom was overreacting.
Okay, which of the following is Maya Angelou's first body of work?
Which of the following?
Well, you can. I'll let you guess. I wasn't gonna give you multiple.
Well, which of the
Oh.
following means you got to give us some
I'll give it
examples.
Still I Rise.
No.
I don't know.
Okay.
I don't know.
I know why the cage bird sings.
Is that their first one? That was a tough one.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Any
My
more
favorite. I was just giving you my favorite
Gotcha.
one.
Still
Until
I
I
Rise
Rise
is
is my
favorite.
favorite Maya Angelou poem.
Okay. Do you have another one? I have two
Go
more.
ahead. Go ahead.
Okay.
I'm gonna do one. You do it, and I'll do another one.
Okay. Finish this lyric. Temporary layoffs, good times. Easy credit rip-offs, good time. Scratching and surviving, good times.
You know what? That's before my time.
Okay.
Yeah.
Good answer.
Yeah. That is before my time. That's a
Yeah, and now here comes the Negro foolish questions they're gonna give right now. This, it's mine down. These stupid questions. Fair use, fair use.
little bit right
Jess
before.
is only 32.
Yeah, I know, but how did? Were you watching that?
I was.
You were. I never watched it. I watched. I feel like I watched every other show
Except
except Good Times. Yeah,
Okay. All right.
yeah. But that Good Times would have been the 80s. Yeah,
It was the 80s.
Yeah, I was born in 92, but I watched it with my grandmother
I
who
did not
watched
watch
me all the
it,
time.
so I watched almost all of the other ones, but
Okay.
not that one.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay, you 2 for 2.
I
Candace.
knew it was Good Times, but I didn't
Yeah.
know the.
Got you.
This is an easy one. Who's the first black woman to serve as a U.S. Supreme Court justice?
The first black woman to serve as a Supreme Court justice. Black woman. Is it now? Just now?
Yes.
It's her. It's whatchamacallit? I can't believe I'm blanking on her name. I'm totally blanking on her name.
2 for 3.
No. I'm just blanking on her name. I know her name. She literally just got in there, and I cannot.
Okay,
Can you just
so
give me
you
a
know-
first letter?
Um.
See? Look at you.
No,
See?
I know it. I was just
Her
about to
name, her name is a little tricky.
I was about to tell you.
Her name is a little tricky.
No, it's Ketanji Brown Jackson. but I was
yeah,
about to
yeah,
tell
I
you
said,
Cardi
give me the
B's
first
real name.
letter.
I couldn't remember.
Yeah,
I was about
that's
to
right.
say
I
Cardi
said,
B's
give me
government.
the first letter. Kentucky Brown. Yeah.
Okay.
Wait, how do you actually say that though? Kentucky.
Ketanji. I think it's
Kentucky.
Ketanji.
She has a
Ketanji.
tricky first name.
Okay.
Yeah.
Finish this response. God is good.
God is good. Amen.
No.
Now, this is the test that they gave her. And this test was very telling of how she was really raised and groomed. And it made sense why she carry on and act the way she does. Listen again.
Oh, no,
Christ.
Candace. No.
I thought you were going to say God is great. Thank you for the
God is
48.
great.
No.
No. God, all right,
Y'all not gonna give it
Charlamagne,
answers?
I'm going to do you, Charlamagne.
Yes.
Charlamagne, God is good.
All the time.
And all the time?
God is good.
That's right.
Where's that from?
Jesus
Church.
Christ, Candace.
It's church. God is
Where
good all the
actually,
time.
but why
That's-
do you say all the time back?
that's
Where's
black,
that from?
Black church. God is good all the
Black
time.
church. Everybody said it.
No, I,
Okay,
I
did you
definitely
go to
didn't
black
get that
churches?
one. No, I guess I didn't go to enough black churches growing up.
Okay.
Candace, what's the correct amount of raisins to add to a potato salad?
Zero.
Okay.
Absolutely zero.
All right.
It's actually offensive. That was almost a racist question. That is the wildest thing I've ever seen.
You know she got a little Caribbean in her.
Like, you just don't put raisins in the salad. You just don't put raisins in the salad.
Okay.
Well, Candace, it was a pleasure.
That's the end of that. That's the end. Boy, I'm not sure if any content is going to cover this. I cover it. I did not gain nothing. I've learned a lot more about Miss Candace Owens. If she was on any other podcasts like Club Shay Shay, what she's going to eventually do, and other future black podcasters, I would tell any future content creator, if you last long, don't bother to cover it because it's all right, speaks for itself. This woman does not go around black folks. That's an actual fact. And not only that, because her parents, one of the parents is from the Caribbean. I think it's the grandmother. The other one is American. She doesn't have no actual black experience. She has gone to church. From the talks about she went to church. What church you go to? Because there's no church. If you were raised in North Carolina, especially, that is as black as it's going to get. There's filler churches. A lot of churches, especially if you bounce around from North Carolina to Massachusetts. And I'm not sure if it's the Boston area or the Connecticut area. I don't know which one of Stanford you went to, but it tells that you don't have not really been around black folks. So you're thinking, how you operate and perceive, you actually are white in blackface. May I say more? May I say more? But anyway, that's it for me. I hope you guys like this breakdown. It was long. I managed to survive it. Leave a comment at the end of this video. Like, comment, share, and subscribe to this channel. The links to follow me are following. You can follow me on Twitter at Chaos27. Oh, and one other thing. And I had to play this. Candace Owens thinks, or I don't think she thinks herself, but I know for a fact that baby, when Ben Shapiro and the people from The Wire fire you, you're going to come around and then you're going to play the game like you were this.
You're a victim.
Here we go, CSI.
Yeah. You think you're a victim, but you're not. You're a willing participation, sweetie. Yeah. A participation.
Yes.
A participation. Links to follow me are the following. You can follow me on Twitter at Chaos27. You could add me on Facebook, Eric Ray on Facebook. Join my Rumble page. Rumble. It's on the description of this stream as well. Matter of fact, I'll do you one better, guys. Where is it? Where's my link? Oh, damn it. That's not the link. I don't like this. This dashboard is weird, though. I got you. I got you. Y'all can follow me on Rumble now. I'll put the link to Rumble. I might start doing this periodically as I do these streams to make things easier on people. Follow me on Rumble. See Rain23 on Rumble. Also, if you enjoy my Discord service in the chat room as well. And become a member of the Chaos Reign Show as well. 2-tiered membership. Most content or content might be on membership. So join membership, you know. And that's pretty much it. That's it for me. Thank y'all for watching today's stream. Make sure to leave a comment at the end of this video. And please, you know, if you want to leave me a nice little donation, you could do that too. Either or. I would truly appreciate it. But other than that, let chaos reign.